What is up, guys? Lincoln here, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Dread Captures. I'm recording this on a Sunday, and I just hope that everyone is having a great day. We've put together an awesome video for you compiled of clips from all over the place. Anyhow, I hope you like what you see, and if you do, as always, please like, subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a comment down below. This clip is a real-life PSA about keeping your car door shut, especially if you're parked near the woods. This guy came back to his car and found a wild, big old bear just sitting in his car. Too spooked to deal with it head on, he rigged up a rope to yank the door open from a safe distance. And his quick thinking worked wonderfully. The door flung open and the bear booked it out of there and back into the woods. But this right here was an expensive mistake. Somehow the door shut behind the bear, and while he was in there, he was probably looking for some snacks, and he destroyed the interior. Bears have an incredible sense of smell, way stronger than dogs, which is nuts. So if there's anything that smells like food in your car, it's like ringing the dinner bell for them. But I bet this person won't be leaving his car unlocked again. This next video is a clear warning about the importance of keeping your space when you are out in the wild, especially on a safari. In the footage, there are two different close calls caught by travelers on safari. The first shows a giant anaconda making its way across the path. The folks filming from their vehicle get more than they bargained for when their guide decides to follow the snake for a better view. Bad move. The anaconda gets ticked off and takes a swipe at the vehicle. In the second clip, a different safari group gets a little too brave and parks way too close to an alligator. Predictably, the gator isn't thrilled and goes to town on the car's bumper. The attack is no joke. You can just see how much damage it does. It just rips that fender right off. It's natural to want to get up close and personal, but, we need to remember we're in their home. Keep a safe distance, because if you start stressing these animals out, no bueno. And also, I'd probably pick more docile animals than an anaconda and an alligator. Yeah. This video snagged a moment that's got people split between crying CGI trickery and claiming a ghostly encounter. Take a look. A home security cam catches the whole thing. An older gentleman rings a doorbell, hanging around for someone to let him in. Out of the blue, this misty, dark wisp shaped like a dog appears out of nowhere. You can tell he feels something's off, turns around to check, but there's nothing there. And just like that, the smoky figure that looked a lot like a dog fades away. It's a spooky kind of scene that makes you wonder if dogs have spirits that pop up like this. Some people are raising their eyebrows, saying that they think the man turned around for another reason, not because he felt the presence of a spirit. And yeah, I guess that could be true. But the man recently lost his dog named Pepper. And while we can't make out the true image of the dog, the man is quoted as saying that it looks a lot like old Pepper. And believe it or not, animals appearing in afterlife stories and myths dates all the way back to the Egyptians. They too believed that their pets would visit them after their deaths. So whether the video is legit or not, it taps into some deep-rooted beliefs about animals and the supernatural. Wait until you get a load of this video from Russia. And I get what's probably going through your head, that this has to be a clip from a movie. Wrong. This video is the real deal. You're looking at an incredibly odd creature perched on a limb, small frame with bizarre appendages that stick out from its spine, and that's just for starters. The face is something else, with huge, deep black eyes that stand out, and a mouth that could give a frog a run for its money. Not to mention the sizable tail and stretched out limbs that add to its mysterious physique. As the video goes on, you see this thing darting around with incredible nimbleness and speed, as if it's on the prowl for something. It's a sight that is baffling and has a lot of folks scratching their heads. I think the craziest part is that people are saying that this creature was brought out of its natural habitat because of all the things that are happening in that part of the world. This video is wild. You've honestly got to see it to believe it. An eagle swooping down and dropping a snake right onto someone. Like, this is so crazy to me. Someone in the comments said the eagle must have had a beef with that person, so they decided to drop that snake on him. Another said maybe the eagle thought it was doing them a solid by delivering a slithery present. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, this thing just drops the snake and takes off. I guess anything could have happened. You know, the snake could have even bit the bird, making him drop it. Or maybe the people being underneath the eagle spooked him. Nevertheless, I'm not interested in checking the ground and now also having to check the sky for snakes. Another person chimed in and said that eagles are super precise with their movements, especially when hunting. Their talons have a killer grip, but they'll drop their catch from a height if they need to break it open or hopefully kill it. So while this could be a freaky fluke, it could also be part of the eagle's playbook. It probably just doesn't usually happen over people's heads. In this video clip, there's something truly unexpected that'll capture your eye. The footage, originally recorded in 2019, begins innocently enough. At first, everything appears in place, just another video in the vast sea of content. However, when you dig in and pay closer attention, right from the start, a glaring oddity stands out. Yeah, there's no one behind the wheel of the vehicle. As the scene unfolds, a second camera positioned in a different area offers another perspective. And again, just as before, it's evident that the vehicle does not have a driver. And this isn't just a fleeting moment or maybe some editing manipulation. You can tell it's genuine by the way the guy chases the vehicle. My first thought was, well, maybe the vehicle had some mechanical issues. Maybe it slipped out of gear and began to roll. Plausible explanation. But here's what changed my mind. Instead of simply rolling forward or backward like something would that's stuck in neutral, this one behaves differently. It is reversing, the wheel turns, it pivots, and then accelerates forward. It doesn't just roll aimlessly, we've all seen those. It maneuvers with a purpose, almost as if guided by an unseen force. Anyhow, ruling out the rolling backwards gravitational pull of a car in neutral, the footage for sure challenges our understanding of what's normal. It's not an everyday sight you'd come across on the road, a car driving with no driver. Anyhow, I'd love to know if you have any theories about this. On a standard hunt in the African forest, hunters came across an extraordinary sight, something that's hard to put into words. Now, there are no special effects. This is genuine footage from the hunter's trip. They encountered a creature that's downright freaky. I mean, what is this thing? It has a face resembling a human on a body akin to a tiny, hairy koala. I mean, something's going on here. This is just bizarre. When I first started watching this thing, I thought it was just some type of doll or something else, but if you look closely, there's a hint of movement. It could even be sleeping. I don't know. For me, there's something deeply unnerving about anything that remotely mirrors human traits. In 2019, a YouTuber heard about a mysterious and reportedly haunted cemetery in Georgia, known as the Shadow Cemetery. According to eyewitness accounts, shadowy figures have been spotted wandering around the graves and lurking in the vicinity. Intrigued by these claims and eager to investigate them himself, the YouTuber decided to take a trip to this unsettling location. Once he arrived, he began to explore the wooded areas surrounding the cemetery. As he was panning his camera across the landscape, he noticed something odd in the distance. If you take the time to slow down the footage from his video, you'll see a dark figure standing amidst the bushes. Oddly enough, he didn't notice this at first. As night began to fall, he continued his investigation of the cemetery. It was then that he and his team suddenly saw another shadow figure. This one was peering out from the bushes directly in front of them. What made it even more startling was that the figure seemed to float before vanishing quickly into the night. People who have watched the video were genuinely shocked by what they saw. Could this dark figure have been following the investigators from the moment they set foot in the cemetery? You know, until my family got some cats, I always thought they just kinda laid in people's laps and basking in the sun. But there have been a few things that I've seen that have changed my view entirely. This is one of them. In an engaging piece of video from a cat owner, there's a dramatic face-off between our cherished cat and a sly fox. The scene all goes down near a tree, with the determined fox going after the cat. Yet surprisingly, the cat stands its ground with incredible calm, batting away every advance the fox makes with precise and agile swipes. Every time the fox tries a new tactic to outmaneuver the cat, it's met with the same lightning-fast defense. What's fascinating is the cat's unbothered attitude, staying chilled throughout the whole scrap. And surprisingly, he must get that from his owner, because the owner's standing there just cool and collected, letting the scene play out without a flicker of stress. Anyhow, fun fact about cats, their reflexes, they're not just quick, they're some of the fastest in the animal kingdom. A snake can strike at them and they are fast enough to get out of the way. In a video posted on a nameless YouTube channel, there unfolds an event that's bound to boggle your mind. The footage, recorded mid-afternoon in October of 2019, showcases a mysterious occurrence through the lens of a car's dash cam. As the scene unfolds, what seems to be a black car suddenly appears on screen, seeming materializing from nowhere. Even when the video is played in slow motion, there's no sign of where the black car might have come from. It's as if it just popped into existence, springing from thin air in a split second. Now, I know what you're thinking, because that's what I was thinking. The argument that this is simply a matter of the camera's perspective. But hang tight, another intriguing aspect casts doubt on that. To the left of the black car, a silver vehicle can be seen, apparently intending to make a left turn and continue down a slip lane. Logic would dictate that the driver of the silver car would have noticed the black vehicle and taken action to not cut him off. However, it appeared as if the silver car's driver was just utterly unaware of the black car's sudden appearance. There's no sudden brake, no swerve, nothing to indicate the driver saw the hazard. This begs the question, was the black car really invisible until that very moment, or was the silver car's driver simply just not paying attention? I'll say this footage, it got everyone debating, speculating. I mean, tons and tons of comments were flooding in. Probably the most popular theory that emerged was the idea of teleportation, the notion that the black car had transported itself instantly from one location to another. And, even more far-fetched, I don't think it's that far-fetched, but it's that of time travel, with some viewers suggesting that the black car had moved not just through space, but also time. I love it. I'm going with time travel as well. If you watched the last video, you probably picked up on my intrigue of the whole time travel thing. I mean, this car was probably just out of camera view and just cut that other car off, but what if it is time travel? I'll warn you now, if you have a thing about bugs or creepy crawlies, you might want to skip this video. It shows a bunch of buddies stumbling upon a weird cave opening. After a bit of hesitation, one of them gets bold enough to go inside, and that's when things get wild. His presence accidentally riles up a massive swarm of bugs, thousands of them, and in no time, they are whizzing around in chaos. There are so many of them that they actually envelop the guy from view. The bugs flood out of the cave, freaking out because of the disturbance. The guy also freaks out because he feels the swarm on him. He tries to bolt but ends up just going deeper into the cave, trying to dodge the intense bug cloud. At first, no one could figure out what kind of insects these were, but a little digging turned up that they're just sandflies, apparently very common. They do, however, bite for blood, but I feel like I would be more worried about them going in my nose or ears and being stuck in there. Only limited information is available about the video clip we're about to discuss. This particular footage has been making rounds on various ghost investigation forums, drawing the attention of enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Many of these individuals firmly believe that the footage contains genuine evidence of a ghostly apparition. Interestingly, this specific version of the clip was shared by a user on TikTok. The video begins with a poignant scene. A man is seen standing at a gravesite, deeply mourning the loss of his late wife. Very sad. He is visibly distraught, his tears flowing freely as he covers his face in sadness. However, what makes this footage especially intriguing is not just the man's evident grief, but also the mysterious activity unfolding behind him. If you observe closely, there appears to be some subtle movement just behind where the man is standing. You need to have a good eye. The movement is faint, yet it forms a vague silhouette of what seems like a figure. Now, the figure looks as though it's attempting to reach out towards the grieving man. It's ghost-like, almost smoke-like in its form, leading many viewers to speculate about where it came from. The predominant theory among viewers is heart-wrenching. Many believe that the shadowy figure might be the spirit of the man's departed wife. They explain that she might be trying to reach out from beyond, attempting to comfort her grieving husband in his moment of immense sorrow. The sentiment behind this theory tugs at the heartstrings for sure, and offers a bittersweet interpretation of the video's content. There are challenges in definitively interpreting the video. The most significant of these is the video's quality. Unfortunately, the resolution is quite low, which makes it difficult to see fine details, and we even tried to lighten it up. It also doesn't let us get a very good look at the mysterious movement. While I would agree it's undeniable that something seems to be shifting behind the man, whether it's genuinely the spirit of his wife or perhaps some other logical explanation, that I don't know. But I'm a sucker for these types of stories, so I'm gonna say that that was her.
Can you imagine if you were just walking through your living room and you notice your dog staring intently out of the glass? Curious, you take a peek and you see this massive mountain lion pawing at your window?
On our patio. He wants to eat my dog. Dash. Dash, get back. Dash. 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 Get away. Dash, come here. Dash. God, dumb dog. Dash.
The dog, named Dash, deserves some credit here. He does not back away from that cat. Look at how the lion paws at the window. Like, dang, dinner is so close yet so far away. Here's a really wild video from Missouri. A homeowner shows amazing courage when his dog was suddenly attacked by a coyote in their backyard. Check this out. The video catches the moment when the homeowner, just carefully checking out the surroundings, sees his dog run towards a neighbor's place with a coyote right behind it. In a split second, the homeowner steps in, stopping the coyote from getting to the small dog. What happens next is incredible. He snatches this coyote up and lifts him off the ground. The man then goes over and puts the coyote in a dumpster and shuts the top. This is a powerful example of how far someone might go to keep their pet safe. Keith reaches out to Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization with a mixture of curiosity and reverence. I'm going to read the actual email he sent. Good evening, RMSO. My name is Keith and I come from the North Cheyenne Nation. I have in my possession a trail camera photo that might just capture the elusive Bigfoot. The owner of the photo, also a member of our tribe, snapped this near a spring on the land where he grazes his cattle. Now, like us, the RMSO team is pumped to receive this. It's an exceptional discovery, and these guys have their own collection of trail cameras and other types of videos as well. Now, the guys back at RMSO said they'd put the various light filters on it like they did before with the other photo. I mean, this really is a striking picture if you look at it. I mean, there's a distinct shape, elongated arms, it has the characteristic dome head, and look how broad its shoulders are. I really need to follow up on this. I hope they're able to unearth some further details. But to me, this is really incredible. This is such a clear photo. Okay, now this is super eerie. A cruise ship starts to make an unscheduled U-turn when the captain spots an orange life raft in the middle of the ocean. I just have to say, something like this is one of my worst nightmares, as I'm sure it is for many people. I guess the only thing that could make it worse would be not having a raft. Look how hard it is to see that, nearly impossible. Wow, my adrenaline started pumping watching this. As it gets closer, there looks like there are people or a person on there. And there are. What an incredible event. I had to go to the comments on this one, and I found this from someone named Alex. Alex says, "Fortunately, this story has a remarkable and uplifting twist. The life raft in question belonged to the ill-fated Two Brothers, a ship that sank off the coast of the Dominican Republic. Miraculously, all passengers from the Two Brothers survived their ordeal at sea. In a display of incredible seamanship and compassion, 6 of them were rescued by a Carnival cruise ship, and another 6 were found clinging to floating wreckage, all of whom were brought to safety." Just incredible. This next photo was in a group of photos posted on Reddit, and when I saw it, I could not believe the number of comments it had gotten. Check it out. The picture supposedly shows a person peeking through the crack of a door into a bathroom and looking at this guy. The guy says he's freaked out and snapped a picture of it. Commenters have thrown a multitude of guesses around. Some are calling BS, but a majority of the people see the creature, person, figure, whatever it is, and claim they would be freaked out too. Now, I can definitely see something in the crack of the door, but I feel like it's nearly impossible to make out what it is. After looking at it a few times and concentrating really hard, I can see what one might think is a face. One commenter said that the figure has face paint on. Heck, I don't know. The OP says he was home alone, and I think he's being honest about that because, well, he's using the bathroom with the door wide open. I'm having a hard time getting around the thought process of an intruder entering my home, shocking me while I'm sitting on the toilet, then whipping out my phone, snapping a picture, scrolling for the skull emoji, posting it to Snapchat and Reddit. Maybe I'm a boomer. Oh my goodness, this is not what you want to see. Holy heck. This kid caught on film as a sitting duck to this big old black bear that has wandered into a neighborhood. All of a sudden, a man appears and scares the bear off. Wow, that poor kid, man, I know he was terrified. As we watch it again, the guy gets out of his vehicle because he sees the kid is in trouble. It looks like he and his wife were leaving the neighborhood and happened upon this. Wow. What a guy. The way people are these days, sadly, many might have stayed in the truck. But not this hero here. I truly think that that guy saved that kid's life. Wow. I mean, when I tell you that I dug this story and this photo out of the depths of the supernatural archives of Reddit, please believe. This picture tells the tale of the Martinez dog demon, a paranormal mystery captured in a photograph that has puzzled and terrified those who have seen it for years. The story begins with Joe and Patty Martinez, a couple who, while celebrating a friend's 50th wedding anniversary, unknowingly became the subjects of an eerie and unexplained phenomenon. As they smiled for a photograph, little did they know that this snapshot would reveal more than just memories. For lurking behind Joe, there appeared a sinister dog-like entity, an entity not seen by anyone during the event, and absolutely not supposed to be there. The photograph became a striking example of occurrences where unseen figures make unexpected appearances, leaving more questions than answers. What makes this case particularly unsettling is not just the creature's ghastly appearance, but also the troubled background of the man it chose to lurk behind, Joe Martinez. Joe had been wrestling with a deep-seated drug addiction, a battle that he described as soul-destroying. This addiction remained a secret tormentor, eating away at him, yet he managed to keep it hidden from those around him. Despite the struggles within, Joe and Patty attended the anniversary, unaware that this photograph would change their lives forever. Upon discovering the demonic figure in the photo, Patty and Joe were shocked. There were no dogs at this event, and no explanation for the creature's presence. Patty saw it as a manifestation of Satan himself, a common interpretation by many. Joe, however, interpreted it differently. He saw it as a stark representation of the battle raging within him. The fight between good and evil. Patty represented the good, the light guiding him out of the darkness, while the demon symbolized the evil, the addiction that had consumed so much of his life. Taking it as a sign, Joe embarked on a relentless fight against his addiction, with the photograph serving as a powerful reminder of what he was battling against. It's said that Joe carries this photo in his wallet, a personal reminder to never give up and to fight the darkness of his past. While Joe's struggle with addiction found a semblance of resolution, the mystery of the Martinez dog demon remains unsolved, a topic of fascination and fear in the world of paranormal enthusiasts and beyond. It stands as a creepy reminder that sometimes the camera sees more than the eye. This video is so funny. This lady announces that her pet duck Adam is going for his first swim, and this guy just books it out of there. I mean, I was dying. I must be missing something. Is that even a duck? Did anyone else know they could do that? Like, what in the world? Look at that thing just skirt across the water like that. There's no way that's a duck. Well, at least not the ducks I'm used to. The little pond ducks. A lady in the comments said Adam wasn't a pet, he was a hostage. I don't know, but him running on that water really threw me. Really cool clip here. At the beginning of the clip, we hear the storm siren go off. We slowly see the trees begin to sway and the wind is picking up. As I keep watching, all I'm thinking is, look at that trash can. There's always that one guy on the street that leaves his trash can out for days. Well, today is not the day for that because it is quickly going to become a projectile. The rain's starting to come in and the wind's picking up even more. The trash can is on its last legs, and then swoosh, it's gone and all hell is breaking loose. Look at this, the wind is insane. Look at that tree that gets uprooted. Just nuts. In this next intriguing clip, we dive into the mysterious case of the Mika Hulk. The Mika Hulk is a colossal creature that found its way onto a trail camera in the wilds near Tucson, Arizona. Okay, so a trail camera perched above the ground at a vantage point of about 10 feet peers down into a dry creek bed and captures this startling image. The guys at RMSO enhanced the image with various light filters to give us a clearer view of our subject. The story comes from a guy named BH, who recounts the tale on behalf of a friend, the owner of the trail camera. The first thing they want us to know is that this is not your ordinary backyard sighting. This camera was strategically placed on a tree in the woods, capturing anything that walked on this path. Well, it did just that, and captured this absolute behemoth peering directly into the lens. As we look at it, it's almost like it's acknowledging that it's being filmed. Now, there are a few things that stick out about this photo, no doubt, but let's talk about its size. Are we able to capture the size of this creature from the photo? Well, the camera is stationed 10 feet off the ground, and the creature's looking right into the camera, so it's at least 10 feet tall. The guys say they couldn't really make out the width of the body, but you can see the shoulders in the picture. Personally, the first thing that sticks out to me is this red eye. I mean, what is that? If this is not a hoax, this really is quite the picture. The head is gigantic. To me, the thing looks bald too, and I can see the unmistakable outline of a nose, mouth, chin. Again, I know they said they can't see the torso, but if you look at the width of the blurred part where his body would be, I reckon he's pretty big. Now, this was a pretty long interview that I condensed, and these guys were hung up about the proportions, how big this guy was. The million-dollar question to me is, what is it? Are we looking at a Bigfoot? Because it doesn't look like one. The creature has been dubbed the Mecha Hulk, which it does kind of look like a Hulk, or something else from a Marvel movie. I don't know, I'd like to know what everyone else thinks. Again, if not a hoax, pretty incredible. This next clip is sure to get your adrenaline pumping. Look as this shark tails this paddleboarder. I mean, this guy is right behind her, waiting for her to make a mistake. So a little backstory here is that the lady that's being filmed is part of a relay team, and they are in a race from Florida to the Bahamas.
Sit down. Yep. Gabe, stay there. Gabe. Gabe.
This is why he should not.
Gabe.
Gabe!
Hammerhead shark right here. Gabe, stay there.
In the video, you can hear the man encouraging her to keep coming. Then he says, "Sit down." No. I'm not sitting down. Move out of my way and let me jump in that boat. The camera moves over to where we see another team member kneeling on his board, and they start telling him to stay still, that there's a big hammerhead directly under his board. Now, I guess the worry here isn't really falling off, but it's being knocked off, right? Paddleboards are pretty sturdy, but not if you have a massive shark ram into it. In a tucked-away town hugged by mountains, there used to be an elementary school that echoed with the sounds of kids for decades. As time went by, the school aged, and the decision was made to tear it down. Just before it was demolished, a local photographer, one who had actually gone to school there, got curious. He slipped inside with just his cell phone and started snapping pictures of the empty halls and dusty classrooms. He says he was really trying to capture the last bits of a place filled with so many memories. The photographer took dozens and dozens of pictures, just snapping away. Afterward, when he uploaded the pictures, something odd caught his eye. One photo didn't just show the peeling paint and cracked tiles. There was something else. It looked like a little kid. Just a shadowy outline standing there. Now, many are quick to say that this is just a trick of light. Others swear it's the ghost of a past pupil that's passed away and has made this old school their home. That is definitely a spooky thought. This photo and story still floats around the town, and it's turned into their local ghost story. And just a little side note, the photographer that took the shot is adamant that he does not believe in the paranormal. He might now. This video really is crazy. These high voltage power lines are sparking like mad. Captured in a Florida neighborhood, the video shows what happens when two power lines touch by accident. Look at the way it sparks, then zips down the entire length of the lines. Happens over and over.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
In the video, you can hear people screaming in the background. These kinds of mishaps are super dangerous though. They can make the power lines break, and if a line hits the ground, it could lead to even bigger problems. I don't blame them for screaming. It looks pretty scary to see something like this go down right in your own neighborhood. So this story is about a real event that has been talked about for years. Some people find it spooky or weird. Some people find it magical, special. I'm going to let you decide for yourself. The boxing match between Luther McCarty and Arthur Pelkey took place on May 24th of 1913. It was at a place in Calgary, Ontario, really just an old barn set up for this much anticipated fight. The weather and sky was dark and cloudy, no sunlight at all. Inside, where 6,000 fans were cheering, the only light crept in from the creaky boards of the barn. As soon as the fight started, Pelkey hit McCarty with a quick 1-2 punch, including a strong uppercut that made McCarty's head snap back and a right punch that hit his chest hard. McCarty's legs gave out and he fell, part of him hanging out of the ring. Right then, as the ref came over to count him out, a strange beam of light shone down, lighting up just McCarty. The crowd went quiet. They were shocked, just staring at McCarty on the ground. The light vanished as quickly as it appeared when the count ended. Everyone was blown away. Unfortunately, attempts to revive McCarty failed, and he was declared dead right there, only 2 minutes into the fight. The photo from the fight above shows the weird streak of light, and many say that this is the only photo that exists from that fight. There's no clear explanation for how the light got there. Some are saying it's a hoax, but mostly because they don't have any answers. Of course, we could chalk it up as a fluke with an old camera, but despite the debates, the story and the photo have become famous in the boxing world, known as 10 seconds of light. Let me know if you guys have ever heard about this or have any other details. I stumbled on this and thought it was fascinating. Personally, I completely believe in stuff like this. It feels divine. People might say there's no way that light could shine through the roof of the building. There's a way. This video was posted online where two friends run into something super crazy in the woods. As they shine a flashlight deep into the woods, the person holding the camera confirms to their buddy that they were right about seeing something weird. Suddenly they see movement, scurrying. They spot the reason for their alarm, a figure lurking in the shadows that looks like some kind of skinwalker, human-like creature moving around. The guy with the camera tells his buddy, dude, take a shot. And bam, 3 shots ring out.
But what the is I told y'all there was something out here.
Holy
Shoot that motherfucker, dude. Hit that motherfucker. Dude, I think you missed it.
But it looks like they missed because the creature quickly zipped away into the woods. Okay, yeah, so that was a super eerie moment, but firing shots might not have been the wisest decision. I mean, it could have just been someone messing around, and next thing you know, you're arrested. You might have seen this video because this thing went viral. We can see a very common scene taking place in this girl's kitchen. She's doing a little work and is about to sink her teeth into the sandwich. As soon as she gets up and starts walking, the dog springs into action, jumping and putting his paws on her chest, which, come to find out, is a signal for her to sit down. Initially, she tries to kind of shoo the dog off, but he's persistent and she realizes what's going on now. Eventually, she sits down and the dog gives her the signal to stay seated. Once he feels she's stabilized, he runs to the counter and jumps up and grabs the meds and passes them off to her. Next, he hits the fridge, pulls it open, and brings her something to drink. You can see as she's overwhelmed by her dog's intuition. Man, dogs are great. A homeowner recently shared some unsettling security footage. In the video, a woman can be seen wandering around the property, looking lost and disoriented. She moves without purpose, wandering aimlessly for several minutes, seemingly unsure of where she's headed. It's important to note that Rainey's property isn't just any regular plot of land. It's nestled in a remote mountainous area, far removed from neighboring homes and major thoroughfares. On the night the footage was taken, the weather was particularly cold. It's puzzling to think why anyone would choose to wander around in such inhospitable conditions. In another segment of the video, the woman is seen clutching her arm, either because of an injury or perhaps as a protective gesture. Strangely enough, she doesn't appear to be seeking help. She doesn't call out to anyone or knock on any doors, despite seeming distressed. Rainey, puzzled and concerned, decided to share the video online. The hope is that someone might recognize the woman or shed light on the mysterious situation. After all, it's not every day you see someone wandering aimlessly on a cold night in a remote area, especially without seeking assistance. Let me know what you guys think about this. At first I thought it was going to be more sinister. Now I'm leaning towards someone that might have had a few too many cocktails. In a video shared by a man named Roger, we get a glimpse of his day spent gardening. It started as just another ordinary day, but in a twist of events, it took a turn that could have had serious consequences. Roger is seen suddenly falling to the ground, seemingly without any clear cause. But is that really the full story? If you pay close attention to the rock next to Roger's foot, you'll notice something peculiar. Just as Roger is about to take a step, the rock shifts on its own, seemingly without any external force. It's almost as if something invisible nudged it. This unexpected movement led to Roger's unfortunate fall and subsequent injury. Many viewers have put forth theories to explain the mysterious movement of the rock. Some suggest it might have been caused by a string attached to Roger's shoe, pulling the rock out from under him. However, this theory was promptly refuted by the person who uploaded the video. Another theory that has gained traction is a more supernatural one. Some believe that a poltergeist, a ghost or spirit known for causing physical disturbances, could be the culprit. These entities, as often described in folklore and stories, are believed to be capable of not only moving objects, but also causing more direct harm, like pinching, biting, or even tripping people. So the question remains, what really caused the rock to move under Roger's foot? Whether it's a simple explanation or something more eerie, the incident surely captured the curiosity of many. Next, we have a clip of none other than our favorite legendary primate. The creature seems to believe it is hidden in the trees as it watches hikers pass by. The moment it realizes the camera is on it, the creature swiftly disappears into the brush. But before it goes, we can get a clear look at its long brown hair and ape-like face. Like many other videos of Bigfoot we feature here, the creature wants to avoid humans at all costs. This is likely why it has been so difficult to capture irrefutable evidence of one. They don't want to be found. These creatures are extremely intelligent. It has been theorized that they live in small communities and either bury or cremate their dead, making it nearly impossible to find a Bigfoot carcass to study. Now that's definitely an interesting train of thought. Let us know your ideas on the matter. Our next submission is a rather frightening still image. This image didn't come with any context, so we have to examine it and judge for ourselves what is going on here. We are either looking at three humans in elaborate costumes or some type of dark forest creatures. If they are human, are they simply posing for a scary photo? Or could we be looking at costumes from a pagan ritual? Or perhaps they are shamans dressed to invoke the spirit of the forest? But what if they aren't actually even human? Could these be guardians or spirits that inhabit the forest? And if they are, what are they doing exposing their existence to someone with a camera? Every major culture has some incarnation of a forest spirit. They might have different names across different folklores, but they all have similar characteristics. If these beings were simply myth, then why do so many ancient cultures speak of their existence? The story behind this image is difficult to put together without more information. Maybe these beasts are simple scarecrows meant to ward off predators. The theories are endless. Let us know what you think about this image down in the comment section. This next video has been making the rounds on social platforms, and it's one you've got to see to believe. It was captured by a security camera right inside the mayor's office in Armenia, Colombia. Now, as you watch this video, pay close attention to the security guard. This guy is not messing around. He's using his flashlight to scan the area meticulously, leaving no stone unturned. He's obviously on high alert, doing his job to keep the place secure. But then, out of absolutely nowhere, something you can't see hurls him against a wall with such force that the wall itself, which isn't exactly built like a fortress, gets damaged. I mean, we're talking about an impact that makes you wince just watching it. Now, it gets weirder. As the security guard tries to get back on his feet, it looks like something invisible is pinning him down. It's as if he's wrestling with thin air. But he's not alone for long. Two of his co-workers rush in to help him out, clearly shocked at what they're seeing. Afterward, the security guard is visibly shaken. And who can blame him? He's convinced that a ghost attacked him. But get this, the mayor, his boss, also believes that something supernatural is going on. He even said that this isn't the first time someone on his team has reported a paranormal experience in that office. So a lot of people who have watched this video are pretty convinced it's the real deal, that something otherworldly is happening. Now I want to know what you make of this footage. Is it a genuine glimpse into the supernatural, or is there a more down-to-earth explanation? This video clip was uploaded to TikTok by a user. Seemingly captures a UFO gliding towards the moon. The footage has left many viewers scratching their heads, trying to decipher the nature of this unusual sighting. If you watch closely, you can catch the mesmerizing moment.
Oh my god. What did I just video? Oh my god. Oh my gosh. What was that? Oh, what was that?
The individual who recorded the video was evidently taken aback. Their reaction suggests a deep sense of astonishment, given that the event caught on camera is profoundly mystifying. As the footage unfolds, we observe what appears to be an unidentified flying object, zooming past the moon, almost as if it had just left its surface. Just as the object passes the moon's perimeter, there seems to be a discharge of some kind, possibly material, from the moon itself. At the time of discussing this, the original video had already garnered an astounding millions of views. This prompted thousands of curious commentators to weigh in, trying to decipher this incredible occurrence. Speculations are diverse. Some believe it might be a satellite, space debris, or even jokingly, Superman. One intriguing theory suggests it's an extraterrestrial vessel, piloted by aliens, skimming the moon's surface before taking off, leaving behind a significant trail of exhaust. On the more skeptical side, there's a belief that the object might be nothing more than a regular airplane. Supporters of this theory argue that moonlight might be reflecting off the plane's exhaust, creating an illusion of a luminous trail along the moon's edge.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, what was that?
Interestingly, several other viewers came forward, stating they'd observed something eerily similar around the same time this clip was taken. The video has stirred such a wide range of opinions that the original poster felt the need to upload another video. In this follow-up, the uploader urged viewers to maintain respect for one another's viewpoints.
Didn't mean to cause so much division. A lot of people are commenting and they're just kind of arguing amongst themselves. We don't have to fight. We don't know what it is. I think the common consensus is that it's an airplane. Okay, it's probably an airplane. The video is still super cool nonetheless. Doesn't really matter what it is.
Irrespective of their beliefs about the footage, sadly, the controversy took a toll. Due to accusations and harsh criticisms from some, claiming the video was fabricated, she released a tongue-in-cheek response, admitting to faking the footage.
Oh my god. What did I just video? Oh my god. Oh my gosh, what was that?
However, the truth remains elusive. No one can say with absolute certainty whether the original video showcases an authentic UFO or if it's merely a crafted ploy for views, unless more substantial evidence emerges. This beguiling aircraft sighting will have to stand as one of the many unexplained mysteries of our time. Next up, we're diving headfirst into the heart of Indonesia's cursed river on a hair-raising adventure. This one's got everything you need for a good ghost video. Late nights, creepy monsters, and 4 brave friends ready to face the unknown. The locals have been whispering tales about this cursed river for ages. They say a mysterious creature lurks in the shadows, waiting to strike its next victim, but only under the cloak of darkness. And tonight, our daring squad is determined to uncover the truth behind the terrifying legend. As they sail through the murky waters, the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Suddenly, out of the mist, they spot an eerie sight, an abandoned vessel just floating aimlessly. But you know what they say, curiosity can be a dangerous thing. One of the guys has an idea, a risky one mind you. He suggests tossing a bottle into the water just to see what happens. And boy, did they get more than they bargained for. As the bottle hits the water, it's like a ripple effect of terror. From the depths of the river emerges a strange-looking hand, with fingers so pointy they could give you goosebumps on sight. That ghastly hand snatches the bottle like it's nothing, and just as quick, it vanishes back into the darkness. Can you imagine the horror on their faces? But here's the kicker. We've got it all on video. That's right, these fearless friends captured the chilling encounter. And now we're left with a haunting question. What in the world is that creature lurking beneath the surface? Some kind of aquatic monster? Or perhaps a long-lost spirit trapped in the cursed waters? Recently, a video surfaced on Instagram that captured a police officer seemingly conducting a routine check or inspection. Equipped with a flashlight, he cautiously navigated through the dimly lit area. But out of the shadows, an ominous scream caught his attention. The intensity of the sound was so unnerving that even the brave officer, accustomed to facing danger, quickly retreated to his vehicle. The scream was hauntingly sharp and had a demonic tone that gave even the most hardened listener the creeps. Many viewers commented with their theories about the source of this eerie sound. A popular belief was that it could be the cry of a banshee. In Irish folklore, a banshee is a female spirit known to wail or scream when a family member is about to pass away. Another potential explanation is that the scream might have come from a creature known as a Drekavac. This entity, often associated with South Slavic myths, can be heard mainly during the 12 days of Christmas, locally referred to as the unbaptized days in Serbo-Croatian, and in early spring when legends say demons are most active. If the Drekavac appears in the form of a child, it's believed to foretell a person's imminent death. However, when seen as an animal, it's said to predict an impending cattle disease. Given these tales and theories, one can't help but wonder, did the officer unwittingly stumble upon and hear the legendary cry signaling death? There's a fascinating short clip that's been making rounds on Instagram recently. In it, we see a man simply walking along a path, just minding his own business. Everything appears perfectly normal, until all of a sudden, a car drives past. And then, just like that, the man seems to vanish, almost as if he had never been there to begin with. It's as if he's been swallowed up by thin air. The clip has ignited a lot of speculation and chatter on social media. A number of people are convinced that the video has been tampered with or edited in some way to make the man disappear. Some suggest it's just a simple camera glitch. Maybe they theorize the camera stopped recording momentarily when the car went by and started back up once the man had already moved out of frame. This could mean that the man didn't actually disappear, but simply walked out of the camera's view during that brief interruption. There's no shortage of theories and guesses about what really happened. But regardless of the explanation, the clip certainly has everyone talking and scratching their heads in wonder. Whether it's an optical illusion, a technical hiccup, or some crafty editing, it's become a bit of an internet sensation. And while we may never know the full truth, it's fun to speculate and join in on the conversation. In a video clip recently uploaded to TikTok, viewers are treated to a lively pool party scene. At first glance, it looks like any other joyful gathering, with people laughing and splashing around. But on closer inspection, something strange stands out. I encourage you to give it another watch, especially towards the end. There's a moment that's captured the attention, and sometimes the apprehension of many. Right at the clip's conclusion, a young girl dressed in white seemingly disappears before our very eyes. Now, there's a chance she simply moved behind a pole or some other obstruction just as the camera panned away. But that's not what's causing a stir. It's her overall appearance that has some viewers scratching their heads and others genuinely alarmed. This young girl has an astonishing aura about her. Her complexion is unusually pale, almost grayish, and she has strikingly dark eyes. Moreover, her dress doesn't quite fit the contemporary setting. Instead, it harkens back to a bygone era, making her presence even more jarring against the modern backdrop of a pool party. When you couple her clothes with her sudden and mysterious appearance, the result is an eerie moment that's hard to shake off. Several viewers have taken to the comments section, sharing their theories. Some suggest she might just be another partygoer who happened to be in vintage attire, but many are convinced that they've witnessed something supernatural. They argue that this could be a ghost caught on camera, and whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the mere idea is enough to give anyone a bit of a chill. Check out this trending video that's been making waves online. We've included this segment in our video to highlight the magic of optical illusions mixed with chance. These videos are important to dive into and give our viewers the chance to really take it apart. If we start to believe everything we see and don't have any standard for calling out obvious hoaxes or videos that are being passed off as mysteries, we won't have a leg to stand on. This case underscores that even baffling occurrences can often be rationally explained. Consider this bird seemingly hovering near a home security camera, moving without flapping its wings. It looks pretty crazy, yet it's an illusion. The bird is indeed flapping its wings, but they're matching the camera's frame rate, causing the bird to look like it's floating stationary. While walking in the forest, a group of friends saw something unusual that many believe is the popular creature called Bigfoot. In a video from 2008, the friends were having a good time when they suddenly saw a strange, tall figure standing among the trees. They tried to get a closer look with their camera, but the figure disappeared quickly. They were left wondering if they had really seen Bigfoot, or if it was just a joke. The unclear video made many viewers curious about what was really out there in the forest. Hey Dread Captures team, long-time watcher, first-time submitter. I've got something you guys might find interesting. My name's Anthony, and I've lived in Northwest Vermont all my life. Spending countless hours in the woods and always having trail cameras set up, I thought I'd seen it all until this latest capture. I sent over a still image that, at first glance, might look like a typical gray wolf, except it isn't. This thing is massive. We're talking well over 200 out. The stance, the intensity in its eyes, it's hard to tell if it's chasing something or if it's just annoyed at the camera flash. Here's where things get really eerie. For weeks now, the woods around my home have been silent. No birdsong, no chattering squirrels, nothing. The deer that used to frequent our yard vanished. My youngest daughter now refuses to play outside, whispering about the big shadow she's seen lurking about. Back to the photo. As massive as this creature is, the truly unsettling feature lies in its claws. They're off. Too long, almost misshapen. They don't look like anything I've ever seen on a predator around these parts. A buddy and I have been discussing the image, and he thinks that this behemoth is why the wildlife seems to have disappeared. Makes sense, considering the sheer size of this thing. It could easily scare off or consume most animals. But those claws? They hint at something else. Maybe something ancient? Supernatural? Would love to hear your thoughts, and whether anyone else has reported similar finding. If you feature this on your channel, please blur out the specific location. I've got a family to think about, and the last thing I want is to attract unwanted visitors. Be they creature enthusiasts or, heaven forbid, the creature itself. Stay safe and keep up the great work. Anthony from Vermont. P.S. If you need more footage or want to visit the location, drop me an email. Just come prepared. The woods here aren't what they used to be. This is a pretty crazy picture. Personally, it is a massive wolf for sure. But Anthony is right. Something is up with the claws. I just don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. By now, I'm sure you all have seen this, but if you haven't, well, you're in for a treat. Mexico's Congress had a hearing on UFOs and the potential of extraterrestrial life, but no one was expecting this to kick it off. Jamie Masson, who describes himself as a UFO enthusiast, made a grand entrance with two peculiar caskets. And inside, he claims they are stuffed bodies of aliens. The bodies have some familiar alien features: large heads, elongated fingers. They were supposedly discovered in Peru in 2017 and are believed to be over 1,000 years old. Now, before you jump on the extraterrestrial bandwagon, there's a twist. Masson has previously made some, let's say, questionable claims that turned out to be less than true. These aren't aliens. They are Peruvian mummies and their bodies were altered after death, says an expert from the University of Chicago. So, the big question now is, will Mawson allow an independent examination of these bodies? One member is quoted as saying, "The audacity to bring those into the congressional chamber. It's all a bit out of this world." Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe, or is it just another tall tale? A Reddit user posted a mysterious photo taken by their hunting trail camera. This black and white snapshot, taken on July 31st, 2020, showcases the perimeter of their backyard fading into a more densely wooded area. What makes this photo particularly intriguing is the unexpected appearance of an entity resembling the upper body of a young woman. She seems to be donning a hat and dress, adding an extra layer of eeriness to the image. The person who shared the photo had just moved into a newly developed community, which was previously an old farm located north of Minneapolis. Upon first seeing the peculiar image, their initial thought was that their neighbor's 6-year-old kid might have decided to pull a playful prank on them. This idea seemed plausible at first, but what deepened the mystery were two subsequent pictures taken by the same camera. Neither of these shots showed the child, or for that matter, any other person nearby. This intriguing discovery sent waves of curiosity throughout the Reddit community. Many users felt a feeling of fear, speculating that this peculiar figure might be a ghost. But as the discussions grew, a crucial point was raised. The photo was captured on the very night of Halloween, making some users skeptical. They wondered if this might just be a well-timed trick, dismissing the image as possibly staged or a hoax. However, the original poster responded, stating they hadn't even made the connection between the date and Halloween at the time the image was captured. So, could it have been a mere coincidence? Or is there something more to this mysterious figure? As of now, without any solid evidence to tip the balance either way, the truth behind the image remains veiled in uncertainty. While some are convinced of a supernatural presence, others remain skeptical, believing there's a rational explanation. In this TikTok video that's been making the rounds, we see something that's both sweet and lighthearted. Two young girls are in their yard at night, holding a flashlight as if they're on some sort of backyard adventure. They heard some mysterious noises and are curiously trying to figure out what's making them. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Unbeknownst to them, a sheep quietly appears and stands right behind them. It seems the sheep is just as curious about them as they are about the noises in their yard. Then one of the girls turns around and, surprise, she spots the sheep standing right behind them. Startled but also amazed, she bolts back toward the house, and her sister quickly follows. But just before they run inside, one of the girls takes a moment to give the sheep a gentle pat on the head. The sheep seems to enjoy the interaction and then wanders off, looking pretty pleased with itself. It's a simple, wholesome moment caught on camera, and it's been bringing smiles to faces all around the internet. This video, originally uploaded by a TikTok user, has been generating quite a buzz online and has left viewers feeling a bit uneasy. It features a strange occurrence that was captured by a home security camera at the user's cousin's house. The camera, positioned to monitor the alleyway next to the house, caught something unusual that has stirred up a lot of speculation and intrigue. In the video, a mysterious white form can be seen drifting past the camera. It's not clear what this shape could be, and it's definitely out of the ordinary. The uploader of the video openly wonders if it could simply be some smoke, or if it might be something more unexplainable, like a real ghost caught on camera. It's normal to think that the idea of a ghost being caught on camera may sound a bit far-fetched. We all know that there are many explanations for such phenomena that don't necessarily involve the supernatural. Sometimes, it's just a trick of the light or an optical illusion. Other times, it could be a result of a camera malfunction or a glitch in the recording. But let's not dismiss the idea of ghosts too quickly. It's not uncommon for people to claim to have seen or experienced ghostly phenomena. Some believe that these spirits are the souls of deceased people who are stuck between this world and the next. Others think that they could be residual energies left behind from traumatic events. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the fact remains that there is something about the unknown that captivates us and keeps us searching for answers. It's worth noting that the TikTok video doesn't provide a lot of context about the mysterious white form. We don't know if there were any unusual events or occurrences at the house that might have contributed to the sighting. So, it's tough to say for certain what this shape could be. Lainey recently shared a clip on Facebook, showcasing her chicken in the backyard on a drizzly morning. At first glance, the video might seem rather ordinary, a simple moment captured on a damp day. However, if you pay close attention to the horizon, you'll notice something peculiar, an unidentified object swiftly moving across the frame. Given the rain and the gloom, it's easy to miss this detail. But if you take a moment to slow down the video playback, it becomes clear. An aircraft zips by at an astonishing speed. What makes this sighting even more intriguing is Lainey's mention that the nearest airport is a good 30 kilometers away. Considering the distance, it's quite remarkable that such a compact aircraft could move at that pace. This begs the question, did we just witness a potential UFO sighting? Or could it simply be a conventional airplane? The mystery remains, but the video is surely worth a second look. This is a crazy video taken down in Florida. The green iguana was introduced to the state of Florida back in the 60s. Like all invasive species, they enter their new ecosystem with an instantaneous leg up on all other life in that area. You see, every ecosystem has a trophic level, something we humans came up with to explain the massive exchange of resources between species. Primarily, they're feeding relationships. The trophic level of an organism is determined by what it eats. Everything is fine until one of these invaders comes along and either fills the role of a native animal, which can lead to the rapid decline in the native species, or the new animal can actually create its own new trophic level, which just throws everything even further out of whack. Both of these scenarios are no good. But when you add to the mix the fact that this new species does not have any natural predators to keep them in check, they will just keep multiplying, making the situation exponentially worse with each generation. So yeah, this bystander should have let nature play out. The video in question was uploaded to Instagram by a paranormal investigator named Greg Ludwig. He captured this intriguing footage late one night in his own backyard. According to Greg and his family, who live in the house, no one was in the backyard at the time the video was recorded. That makes what happens next even more puzzling.
Right here. You can see a shadow up here. Boom.
And no one's there.
In the video, a shadow suddenly appears near a lawn chair. What's really odd is that this shadow looks like it's being cast by a person standing next to the chair. But here's the kicker. There's absolutely no one there. It's as if the shadow just materialized out of nowhere. But that's not all. Alongside the mysterious shadow, a flashing light or orb also makes an appearance. It seems to hover near the shadow and stays there for a short while before disappearing. Now, for those who might not know, an orb is often described as a transparent ball of light energy, and many believe it's connected to spiritual entities. These orbs can show up in both photos and videos, and I've received messages from folks who say they've seen these balls of light on their own home security cameras. So the big questions remain. Where do you think these puzzling phenomena come from? And what, if anything, are they trying to tell us? Tammy Jackson is yet another homeowner who's had an unusual experience captured by her home security system. She has a Ring camera positioned in her backyard, and if you're not familiar with how these cameras work, they only start recording when they detect some kind of movement. So, something specific has to set it off. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Her camera picked up a figure that's pretty hard to describe. It was semi-translucent and shaped like a rectangle. Even more bizarre, it seemed to move in a really strange way, as if it were walking, but without any feet that you could see. It's not the sort of thing you'd expect to see strolling through your backyard, that's for sure. After this strange figure vanished from the frame, a motion-sensitive light in the area suddenly switched on. This leaves us with a couple of burning questions. What exactly triggered the camera to start recording in the first place? And what on earth was that odd entity that appeared on camera? Now, this is a crazy occurrence. A recent post on Reddit has caused quite a stir, leaving many in its community both intrigued and worried. It all started when a user took to the platform to share a strange incident involving their spouse, who happens to be a manager at a local restaurant. A few days earlier, during one of her shifts, the wife stumbled upon an unusual discovery, a trail camera hidden and pointed directly at the back of her restaurant. To make matters more suspicious, the camera was securely strapped to a tree located just behind the establishment. What's even more alarming was the fact that neither she nor the higher-ups at the restaurant had any inkling about this camera's existence. To provide a clearer picture of the situation, the Reddit user shared a photo of the peculiar trail camera, which only intensified the speculation and concern amongst the Reddit community. But the story took an even stranger turn. Sometime later, a man walked into the restaurant, identifying himself as a representative from Wildlife Services. He approached one of the waitresses inquiring about the discovered camera. Offering an explanation, he mentioned that he had been given permission by the management to set up the trail camera, which he valued at over $500 as part of an effort to find a lost dog. But here's where things get even murkier. Without waiting to speak to the restaurant's manager or clarifying further, he left in haste and was never seen again. Amidst the flurry of comments and reactions on the post, one particular suggestion stood out. A fellow Redditor advised that the restaurant should remove the trail camera's battery. As a countermeasure, they should set up their own surveillance to monitor whoever comes back to either retrieve or replace the camera's battery. On top of this, they also proposed an ingenious idea. If the individual tried connecting to the restaurant's Wi-Fi, the staff could potentially identify them by cross-referencing the device with the restaurant's Wi-Fi connection logs. The entire episode leaves a lot of questions unanswered. What was the real purpose of the camera? Who exactly was this so-called representative from Wildlife Services? These uncertainties have heightened concerns over the safety and well-being of the restaurant and everyone associated with it.
This latest video claims they've got footage of a Bigfoot and it was shot in the mountains of Indonesia. Take a look at this. You can spot a huge figure ambling across a clearing near a waterfall. It looks like it's covered in fur, walking on two legs. Given how big it seems even at a distance, it's too large to be just some ordinary ape. I'm not gonna lie, part of me is pretty convinced that this is legit. Plus, the idea that someone would be traipsing around the mountains and the forest in a Bigfoot suit seems a bit out there to me. I know it happens, but it's freaking hot out there. And it's not like this video went viral. That just doesn't sound like fun to me. Anyhow, I mean, you know people do all sorts of crazy things. Until someone gets caught red-handed in a Bigfoot suit in the Indonesian woods, I'm saying this is real. Shout out to Indonesia. This Trailcam owner has claimed that he's caught an alien in the forest. And this is just adding to the pile of alien sightings that have cropped up all over the place. It seems to me like these stories of close encounters are getting to be pretty standard worldwide. This photo is compelling. It's making me think that, maybe these guys are just popping up around us. Of course, the naysayers are saying that there's a bunch of other explanations for stuff like this. I don't know. Never say never. What's your take on this snapshot? You think this is a sneak peek at life from another planet? Or just another prank pulling the leg of everyone who's into the paranormal? Online, there's this photo that's been creeping people out for years, and it never gets old. It popped up on Facebook in 2011, snapped in the Hanchurch Woods over in Staffordshire, UK, and it's got what looks like is a ghost in it. Take a closer look and you might see what appears to be a lady in a fancy dress with a big hat. This picture's got folks hooked, trying to figure out if there's a real ghost story behind it. Well, that's because Hanchurch Woods isn't your everyday forest. It's got a pretty eerie backstory. Rumors of murder, suicides, witch hunts, and sacrifices. It's not a place you want to go alone or at dark. Probably everyone's favorite legend is about the Hanchurch Hound, this ghost dog that's said to show up if you've cheated on your spouse. The tale says it lures the guilt-ridden wanderers deep into the forest and then just disappears. Just leaves them out there to wander lost. Which is sinister, yet maybe deserved. There's more though. Over time, people have said they've seen all sorts of spooky stuff out there. A sad lady in white by the old train tracks, a guy in a top hat, some ghost kids just playing far off, and another woman decked out in old-timey Victorian clothes. Even though it's been over 10 years since that photo hit the internet, it's still a big deal. People can't stop talking about the ghostly lady and those weird light orbs near her. Whether it's the orbs, or the lady, or the location, the focus on this picture is never ending. In a video that surfaced on TikTok uploaded by El Kukui TV, we see an ominous scene unfold. It's deep into the night, and we watch as a vehicle cautiously maneuvers through a dimly lit, one-way tunnel. As the vehicle advances, the driver suddenly notices something out of the ordinary. The dim light reveals a figure resembling a small child standing alone by the roadside. The surprise is intense. Both the passenger and the driver voice the same startled reaction, asking, "Wait, was that a kid?" This unexpected sighting has led viewers to ponder two possible and equally unsettling explanations. The first theory is deeply troubling for its real-world implications, that the figure we see actually could be a child lost, stranded in this remote and dimly lit tunnel. One can only imagine the circumstances that have led a child to be in such a vulnerable position. On the other hand, some viewers, perhaps those more inclined towards the supernatural, suggest a more eerie theory. They believe that what we're witnessing isn't a living child at all, but rather an apparition, a ghostly manifestation of a child who may have tragically met their end on this very stretch of road. What say you? Now, this video clip is certainly an odd one. It showcases security footage from a grocery store, and the events captured in it are weird. Initially uploaded to Instagram by a user named A Guide to Combat, the footage starts off quite routinely. Shoppers go about their business, picking out items, moving through the aisles. However, as the clip continues, something unusual happens. A man, seemingly out of the blue, begins to act in an erratic manner. It's as if he has spotted something terrifying directly above him. In a sudden bout of panic, he seems to crumple, falling to the ground. This raises the obvious question: what on earth did he see that elicited such a strong reaction? Luckily, many have weighed in with their opinions. Some suggest that he might be an actor, possibly trying to pull a prank on the security personnel, keeping an eye on the surveillance footage. That's not a bad theory, actually. They argue that the entire episode might just be a well-staged act for the cameras. Yet there's a significant number of viewers who believe the man's reaction is genuine. They point out the authentic look of shock and horror on his face. Now, some people said we should consider that maybe it's a medical emergency, like a seizure. Yeah, but why would he stare upwards with such dread, as if expecting something or someone to descend upon him? Interestingly, there have been a few other video clips circulating online that show people exhibiting similar behaviors. This only adds to the mystery, and viewers are left wondering about the truth behind these strange occurrences. This next series of photographs was shared by an individual on Reddit. According to the person who posted them, these images were captured inside their friend's home, a house which has, for a while, been believed by many to be haunted. Like, they've thought this since they were kids. The homeowner often recounts crazy experiences and stories. Among these tales is a recurring scent of pipe smoke that flows through the home without any identifiable source. Obviously, no one's smoking, and even after thorough searches, they've never been able to pinpoint where the scent comes from. Similarly, during the night, they sometimes hear mysterious knocking sounds echoing through the home. Again, despite their efforts to find who is doing the knocking, they can never find out. One particularly eerie day, the homeowner felt an uncanny sensation, like someone or something was sharing the room with them. Driven by this feeling, they grabbed their camera, hoping to capture any anomalies or anything that might give weight to their suspicions. The result was a sequence of chilling photographs. Now, the initial photo in the series seems fairly ordinary at first glance. However, upon closer inspection, you can detect a vague silhouette of a dark figure, reflected in the mirror on the left side just before the curtains. It's the following photograph that truly sends the fear, though. In this image, the shadowy figure appears more pronounced, seemingly leaning out from behind the curtains and peering out the window. If you compare the two pictures side by side, the subtle movement of the figure becomes evident. The family does have a theory, though. They believe this apparition could be the spirit of an elderly man, one who, in their opinion, doesn't mean any harm. The original poster, who has been a guest at this house several times over many years, vouched for this belief, stating that they've never felt endangered or threatened by whatever entity resides there. It's just that you can feel that there is an entity there. Well, regardless of whether it's merely tales of the unexplained or evidence of something beyond our understanding, the story and its accompanying images are pretty captivating. An intriguing series of photos surfaced on Instagram, capturing the attention of many. These images were shared by a user who detailed an unexpected eerie experience. The guy posted a recent sturgeon fishing adventure with his buddy. After they hooked a huge one, they took a picture of it. Grabbing all their gear, loading up the boat, they ventured out, and as luck would have it, they managed to hook a significantly large sturgeon. And naturally, they're gonna take a picture of it to capture the memory. They took a few pics, and you can tell these guys are pumped. However, the real surprise awaited them the next day. As they were scrolling through the images, they stumbled upon something unsettling. And I just have to say, this would freak me out. It's specifically in the photo timestamped at 3:35 a.m., just over the man's left shoulder. In a sequence of two photos, the unidentified entity or object seemed to rotate, giving the impression of turning to face the camera directly. What made this even more baffling was that in the picture that followed, this mysterious presence had vanished without a trace. Anyhow, the original poster didn't really know what to do, so they shared it online. And wouldn't you know it, theories flooded in. Now, some people proposed that this could be a cryptid, perhaps the notorious chupacabra. You know, I just don't think so. However, others had a more grounded theory. If the backdrop of the photos was indeed the riverbank, it might have been a cougar, stealthily watching the men from the shadows. No, absolutely not. It's not a cryptid. It's not a cougar. It's a gator. Or a crocodile. Like, I can't believe how many people were baffled about this. You should read the comments. It's like, dude, they're in the water. Those are eyes. In this clip, the original poster recalls an eerie experience from 5 years prior, shortly after moving into their new home. At first glance, this all looks like a playful prank. The woman who posted the video initially believed her husband was just goofing around. I mean, you can hear how hard she's laughing. However, she soon came to a startling realization. He wasn't joking at all. The husband described a chilling event in which he felt a force grab his leg, pulling him across the floor.
First, no, I was not being pulled by a rope or a string or fishing string. That would probably hurt. Yeah, fishing line, that wouldn't even be possible.
Many who first watched the clip dismissed it as an obvious hoax, but the story took a turn when the video went viral. The family felt compelled to post multiple follow-up videos detailing the events surrounding this mysterious incident.
She says she sees a tall, dark man, or a man with a dark face. He doesn't say anything to her, doesn't do nothing, doesn't try to get her, but of course she's terrified or she's spooked about it.
During one of these follow-ups, the husband revealed more about their family. He shared that they have 5 daughters. Intriguingly, one of the twins spoke of frequently seeing a tall man with an obscure dark face roaming the hallways of their home. This wasn't the only strange occurrence in the household. The father further detailed that on numerous occasions, household objects would inexplicably vanish, only to be found later in entirely different spots. And lastly, if all that's not unsettling enough, they've heard unexplained loud voices echoing through the entire house. The family stories have left viewers divided. Some believe in the authenticity of their experiences, while others remain skeptical. This video captures a moment that is pretty baffling. Now, to give you a little backstory about this video, this neighborhood has been experiencing some weird things happening up and down their street. There have been reports of a creature walking up and down the tree line at night. A few joggers even saw it in the morning. Well, I believe this video has captured the culprit. The person filming manages to get footage of a bear that's walking on two legs, strolling down the street as if it were the most natural thing in the world. When the bear gets to a trash can, it stands up on its hind legs and takes a look inside, acting just as curious as anyone might be. But it doesn't find anything that seems to tickle its fancy, so the bear walks off on two legs, looking for the next thing to rummage through. I've got to say, this is a pretty cool camera capture. Just another example of the wild, unexpected things you can come across in the world. Caught on a home security camera, this footage shows a scary situation right in someone's backyard. There's a person armed with just a long stick trying to fend off a threat. Things heat up quick when two bears come barreling into the yard. It's hard to tell what they're after, but it looks like they mean business. One bear kind of snaps out of its trance, thinks better of it, and heads back off. But the other one is all in, charging, knocking the person down. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine how that person must have felt. Their life must have flashed right before their eyes. On a side note, if you move to an area with a lot of wildlife, you got to keep your head on a swivel. Alright, this is pretty bizarre. Check out this odd looking beast. It's freaking huge. It resembles a pig that's like seriously bulked up. I mean, this can't be real. It looks like it has 3 horns on its back. It's like someone mashed up a giant hog with a dinosaur and a pit bull. I mean, I can't imagine running into a creature like this. Just to play along, if this is real, what do you think this thing eats? I mean, I don't know if we call this thing a pig dog or what, but are we thinking that this is just some clever trickery? Or is this an actual creature? A couple of hikers were out in the woods when they started hearing some weird sounds. Curious, they scoped out the area and caught a glimpse of something moving between the trees. They hung around hoping to see more, and sure enough, their camera picked up a ghostly figure creeping closer. The thing looked like something out of a horror story, tall, skinny, with freakishly long fingers. The hikers were freaked out, no surprise there, and they didn't stick around. They booked it out of there so fast, which I can't lie, seems like the right move. So what are we calling this? Some sort of rake? Some other creature? It's chilling for sure. I mean, honestly, looks like it might have been human at one point. There aren't many stories out here about this thing, but from the few who have come forward, it's not something you'd want to bump into. They say it's more of a shapeshifter. In this captivating video, there's this mysterious figure that has showed up in someone's backyard. Tall, shadowy, and you can just about see its gleaming white teeth in the dark, which kind of creeps me out. The thing's covered in dark fur, so it's tough to see it clearly, but it seems to have long limbs that just add to the weirdness. It hangs around for a bit like it's scoping the place out, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Just disappears without a trace. I mean, it kind of leaves me wondering what I just looked at. It's got everyone scratching their heads, trying to guess what this creature is and where it came from. Is it some kind of animal we've never seen before? Hiding right out under our noses? I don't know.
During a 2014 Christmas celebration, a family's cheerful video unexpectedly captures a mysterious occurrence. Just as they voice their holiday greetings and the woman filming sweeps her camera past the Christmas tree, a shadowy figure is spotted lurking in the nearby woods, which drew immediate attention from several family members. In a hurry for answers, she rushes outdoors to film the figure again and asks another person who's recording if he noticed it, only to be told he didn't. She insists on the figure's large size. Shortly afterward, their dog aggressively chases what they suspect is Bigfoot, very much bothered by the presence of whatever this creature is. The situation escalates as the figure comes alarmingly close, and everyone makes a quick exit to the safety of the home. The woman filming tries to enhance the footage at key moments, hoping to provide a clearer glimpse of the Bigfoot. Some viewers analyzing the woman's reaction speculate that the footage is fake. Others are in the comments arguing that different people react to shock in varied ways. The dog's odd and seemingly untrainable reaction adds to the mystery. Yet some suggest it might simply be a man in a costume. The video's start, capturing a Bigfoot sighting right as the camera rolls, also raises suspicions of its authenticity. However, viewer opinions are most definitely divided, with as many believers as skeptics debating the reliability of this video. In this footage, we see what looks like a Bigfoot shaking a tree in a Florida nature reserve. The folks at Sasquatch Academy think it's trying to strip the bark off the tree to get to grubs and other bugs. This park is known for having many trees stripped like this, up to about 8 or 9 feet high. Let's take a closer look and enhance the video. People are wondering why the video stops so suddenly. The shaky camera is likely because the person filming had to zoom in a lot to get the creature on camera. If it's just a person in a costume, they must be really strong to shake such a big tree. Some viewers also point out that the creature has really long arms, which makes them think it could be real. It's pretty surprising to see how easily it bends the tree. But then again, it could be just a strong person in a costume. Others think the way it walks is too much like a human for it to be a real Bigfoot. We can't find any info about who made this video or why they were filming, so all we can do is look at this video and try to figure it out. In today's viewer submission, we dive into a chilling mystery from a quiet rural farm. The owner has sent us 2 trail camera photos that have captured something truly eerie. As we look at these images, we invite you to gaze into the unknown with us. In the first photo, taken under the darkness of night, we see a silhouette that chills the blood. It stands at the edge of a forest clearing, its outline barely recognizable against the fog that comes through the trees. The figure's stance is unnaturally calm, showing a haunting presence that feels almost inhuman. In the second image, the creature appears closer. If we dare call it a creature, for its form is as elusive as any cryptid. The same stance is evident, but this time, there's an undeniable clarity to its posture. Its head is tilted in an almost curious, unsettling manner, as if it's aware of the camera's gaze. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the chilling similarities. Both images feature the figure with a piercing gaze that seems to shine even in the low light, eyes glowing. Its presence is commanding, and there's a consistency in its peculiar build. It seems to be moving with a purpose, stepping forward in a way that stirs a primal fear deep within us. Yet, despite these similarities, questions linger that deepen the mystery. Is this the same entity captured twice? If so, what does it want, as it has showed up on the farm for 2 random nights? Or are we witnessing different beings, each with the same haunting characteristics, part of a phenomenon that we don't even know about? The farm's owner reports a silence that descends upon the land with these visitations, a stillness that speaks of a world beyond our own. Animals on the farm react with a mix of fear and agitation, as if they too sense the oddness of these figures. As these images fade from the screen, they leave us thinking the nature of what has been captured. Is it a trick of light and shadow, or something more profound, more unsettling? These photographs photographs stand as an eerie testament to the unknown, a puzzle that signals the brave to solve. So, we turn to you. What do you believe is captured in these images? Share your thoughts, theories, and let's unravel this problem together. Could this be evidence of a cryptid, a ghostly apparition, or simply the unknown wonders of the natural world? The answers remain hidden in the mists from which these figures emerge. Now, let's explore a video from Russia, reportedly showing a Bigfoot. The translated description expresses uncertainty. I'm not sure what or who this is. The video, set in a forest, shows a man alarmed by a figure walking nearby.
Серега, что это? Серега, да ну, Серега. Серега, ну.
It was posted in 2011, so let's examine it. Analysis of the video reveals the figure moves with bent knees at times, a difficult act to fake, suggesting this might not be a hoax. This footage is among the more chilling Bigfoot videos I've seen on YouTube. Yet, many viewers argue it's a hoax, believing the figure is just a person in a suit, trying to mimic a Sasquatch's walk. Robert Dodson, a well-known hunter of Bigfoot in Texas who sadly passed away not long ago, captured significant Bigfoot activity in his study area. This was in a video that lasted for 25 minutes, named Bigfoot is Pissed. In it, he records several nighttime encounters in the woods. Throughout the video, you can often see a pair of shining eyes. Around the 7-minute mark, you can spot these eyes blinking and then hiding. Robert mentions he thinks he saw something. A similar event occurs again about 9 minutes in. The most notable moment happens in the video when a rock is hurled towards Robert.
Oh, that was a rock. Oh, behind me there.
He quickly turns the camera back, and you can see the same creature again. This causes him to start running. I'm gonna work on enhancing the key parts of the video myself. Let me know if you all notice anything interesting. On May 2nd, 2018, there was a report of Bigfoot being filmed at North Cascades National Park. The video shows how Ghana spotted a figure among the trees and decided to record it with his phone.
Okay, just gonna listen for noises.
The footage captures the sighting and focuses in on the key details. Let's watch it. What's immediately noticeable is that the figure hardly moves. It really looks like a Sasquatch in this clip, but it's strange that it's so still. This reminds me of another video I shared last year showing a spooky figure just standing motionless in the forest. Was it staying still on purpose? Or is this just a trick? I'm sure it's not done with any special video effects, but maybe something placed in the woods made it look real, or it might actually be genuine. Captured in the waters of Chile, we bring to your screens a clip originally shared by a TikTok user. Take a moment and see if you can spot it. There's a slender entity making its passage through the waves. The exact outlines of its body are a little murky, but it seems we can make out a head that briefly cracks the surface. The clarity of the footage has drawn criticism from almost everyone, but honestly, I don't think it's that bad. Most people are suggesting that this water monster sighting is a creature of legend. Others have theorized that it's just a Komodo dragon, and I can't help but notice a resemblance to the formidable Komodo dragon, who coincidentally enough is known for its prowess in swimming. However, given that Komodo dragons only live in Indonesia and not Chile, this theory hits a snag. So, we find ourselves at an impasse once more. What are your thoughts on this aquatic mystery? Hidden in the vastness of the wild, there are beings yet unseen by human eyes. This entity is one such enigma, introduced to us by Dee's Dark Adventures on YouTube. Discovered at the boundary of a local farmer's land stands a creature with horns. Observe closely. The landowner claims no goats are kept on the property. So, we're left wondering, what could this figure be? A mutant horned goat? An otherworldly apparition? Well, I don't know. Its gait strikes me as peculiar, and doesn't quite fit that of a typical cryptid. Its prowling and sneaky glances seem unnatural. There are voices in the comment section claiming to have unraveled this mystery. And while I acknowledge the possibility of a human dressed in disguise, I am definitely open to the idea that this could be a creature still unknown to us. No matter what it is, I wouldn't want it close to my house. Reddit user Swingset Superman recently shared a puzzling video from their home CCTV footage. Taken during the night, the video shows a collection of small, bright specks moving in sync right in front of their front porch. Initially, they thought they could easily explain away this peculiar sighting. They considered common possibilities like insects, bugs, or even small animals. However, the coordinated movements of these glowing spots made those explanations seem improbable. Many skeptics weighed in, suggesting these could merely be reflections or light anomalies. Yet, many remained unconvinced by these explanations. In search of more answers, Swingset Superman turned to the supernatural sections of Reddit. But even there, no one could provide a definitive answer. Instead, the post became a hotbed for theories ranging from miniature aliens and erratic flecks of light to supernatural beings. So the question remains, what could these mysterious specks be? What's your take on it? This footage is captured from the dash of an Australian fire engine. The region is besieged by raging wildfires. They must escape this inferno. Engulfed by flames on all sides, leaving the safety of the vehicle is not an option. The cameraman captures the road's edge and their only choice is to drive on. The ambiance is eerily apocalyptic. Flames engulf the landscape. The air seems thick and poisonous, necessitating the use of oxygen tanks for survival. Notice the intense blaze to the vehicle's right. They are directed to deploy fire blankets to shield the engine from harm. At this moment, that engine is their lifeline. Amidst the chaos, a firefighter's eerily calm encouragement pierces through. Forward momentum is their only path to survival. They report exterior impacts from flying debris, yet they're nearing the end. Smoke blankets everything, obscuring the truck ahead. Miraculously, they emerge unscathed. A vast plume of smoke hangs in their wake. These courageous firefighters have fortunately survived. The captured footage is just unreal.
Now this is amazing trail camera footage. So the owner of the land found a fresh deer killed by a mountain lion on his property. He was able to get some awesome still pics of the lion because he would return every night to feed on the deer. But he wanted trail cam footage of the cat, so he set up a trail cam. It captured the mountain lion coming and going, feeding, day, night. It attracted a few other animals. But the best part is when his 15-year-old English bulldog Dozer discovers the carcass. And there he is.
But one night, Dozer shows up on the Trailcam, sniffing around, doing his thing. But he's not alone. Those eyes in the background, they belong to the mountain lion. It looks like Dozer smells the cat. He smells that something's in the area. He turns around and sees the cat and then rushes him. Dozer's probably none the wiser that that cat could lift him up and just carry him away. Nevertheless, Dozer struts back in view of the camera while the lion slinks away. Obviously, an English bulldog is no match for a mountain lion, but Dozer was able to scare away the lion for the time being. In the animal kingdom, predators have a finely tuned sense of when to fight for their prey and when to just give up. Likely due to their instinctive knowledge that fighting could potentially mean injury or death, whereas giving up may preserve much needed energy resources. Anyhow, just an amazing trail cam capture, and we hope that Dozer is still kicking. This next video is pretty crazy. In Kazakhstan, a fortunate deer was rescued by local residents. They spotted the deer outside in the snow with its head tilted down, unable to move or walk. Upon closer inspection, they discovered that the deer was frozen in place due to a large amount of ice covering its mouth and head. Temperatures had reached negative 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and the deer was helpless to free itself. The video shows the rescuer gently holding the deer and breaking the ice off its head, freeing it from its icy trap. Man, thanks to their quick thinking, the deer was given a second chance at life. This next capture is amazing. It's May of 2020 and nightfall in Saskatchewan, Canada. And in the pitch black darkness, there's something going on in the yard across from this driveway. As the flashlight shines, you can see a creature crouched behind a rock. You can see it duck away. It peeks its head out and then goes back really fast, then peeks it out again and goes back. The family filming would turn the flashlight off, wait a few moments, turn it back on, and the creature would be looking at them, but do the same thing, duck behind the rock, show itself. The mother said at first that she thought that this was just a child, but it wasn't one of her children, and because of the area they live in, there wouldn't be any children playing around this time. She said it moved in an odd way. It was the size of a child, but it did move like one. The coordination was too good. If you look closely, you can see the shadow reflecting off the rock. Now, of course, this could be a hoax, but if nothing else, seeing the shadow proves that the creature really is there. Something is there. Kathy Strain has a different perspective on the creature captured in this video. Kathy is well versed in the legends of the Manigishi and suggests that the creature being nocturnal and the way its body moves, it matches the characteristics of the Manigishi. By using the nearby doghouse in the footage for size reference, it indicates that the creature is not particularly large. Based on the size, its nocturnal eyesight, and behavior, Strain believes that the video may be proof that the Manigishi is a real creature. Unfortunately, for anyone that crosses paths with one of these, they need to be on alert. One of the Manigishi's biggest delights is to crawl out of the rocks and capsize the canoes of people and watch them scramble to safety. Hopefully. Experts say they are small but devious. They are mischievous. They are out to get you, and you'd be wise to keep your distance. Overall, it's fascinating, really. This was the first time I had heard of the Manigishi. While it's tough to say whether or not the creature is real, it begs the question, what else is out there that we don't know about? As for now, what do you all think about the Manigishi? Let me know in the comments. Have you heard of them? Has anyone had any contact with one? I'm very interested. Here we see a juvenile bobcat recently caught on camera playing with a venomous rattlesnake in the wilderness. The footage, taken in a remote location, shows the young bobcat approaching the snake, sniffing it and then playfully batting it with its paws. Despite the danger posed by the snake's venom, the bobcat seems fearless and continues to play with the snake. I mean, look how quick and agile he is. After several minutes of playing, the bobcat suddenly grabs the snake in his jaws and kills it, eventually rolling in it. This behavior is not unusual for bobcats. They are known to be highly skilled hunters. However, their ability to handle venomous snakes is still surprising, as a bite from a rattlesnake could be lethal to most animals. Man, this footage is just fascinating. A glimpse into the complex world of wildlife. You never know what you're going to see in the forest. That's why when these bears started running around, the hunter in the tree stand took out his phone and started filming. Little did he know what was going to happen next. As the bear scampers up the tree, the guy's face is priceless. Neither of them can believe it. The bear eventually shimmies down the tree. Makes you think, what was chasing them? Nevertheless, a great capture. Rancher and farmer Jake Mitchell from southwest Kansas was in for a surprise when he discovered one of his missing trail cameras hanging from the antlers of a big deer. He noticed the camera was missing from his property, where he grows crops and raises cattle, but didn't think much of it. Not until his cousin spotted a mule deer with something unusual on its head. When they saw the deer again, they were shocked to see the missing camera on its antlers. Mitchell's farm is typical of the region, wide open and windswept with few trees, which is why he has to mount his trail cameras on fence posts. However, the local deer population uses these posts as scrapes, which led to the camera ending up on the antlers of the 8-point buck. Luckily, having a landowner tag to shoot a deer, Mitchell was determined to recover his missing camera. After the brief hunt, he walked up to the deer and found the camera wrapped around its antlers. Unfortunately, the camera was broken and the SD card was missing, so the potentially amazing footage of the deer grabbing the camera and giving us a real look at his habitat was lost forever. A landowner has placed a trail camera on this stretch of road on his property, and you won't believe what he caught. In this trail cam clip, a fawn has wandered out to the road. Being cautious, and when Mr. Bobcat gets to the area, he definitely senses something has been there. As we fast forward a bit, same camera, just now it's nightfall. You can see the bobcat spot something. Look at the way he crouches and moves his head, staying hidden but also keeping his sight on the prey. Unbelievable. So, same camera, same place, hours apart. Do we think the deer are just bedded down in there somewhere? Let me know what you think in the comments. In my last video, I talked about a young boy being saved from hypothermia by 3 beavers, which was amazing. But in this video, we see a beaver just beavering. The up-close look is pretty interesting, especially since the tree he decides to fall has a trail camera attached to it. I won't show the whole clip because it's kind of long, but the beaver is just doing his thing. It appears he's going back and forth from two trees, and he eventually falls the tree with the camera. I guess the beaver wasn't interested in being spied on any longer. I do wonder if he dragged the tree to his dam with the camera still attached. This next beaver clip shows a big old fat guy located next to a river in Maine. Look at how much he's gnawed off that one tree. That's incredible. And he started on that even bigger one to the right of the screen. I mean, come on, what the heck is he going to do with that if he brings it down? Seems like a lot of work. He should just find another tree, but I'll leave that to the beavers. As he starts back in on the tree on the left, the time lapse is cool and you can see that he's getting close. The daylight video shows just how big these trees really are. I'm pretty blown away by this, honestly. Those trees are massive. A few nights later, he comes to finish her off. A few more chomps, and he knows the tree is about to fall, and almost gets crushed by it. But there he is, proud of his work. Just really cool footage that you would never have seen without a trail camera. This next video is a very odd one. We can clearly see something completely unnatural in this eerie video. At first glance, it appears to be a young woman wearing a hospital gown in the middle of the night, in the middle of a field, which is creepy enough. But as we take a closer look, there really is something not quite right about her. It appears she is sporting some kind of headpiece. However, it's difficult to make out exactly what it is. The timing of this bizarre appearance is also noteworthy. 3:33 a.m., often referred to as the witching hour or devil's hour in folklore. A time historically associated with supernatural events and paranormal activity, wherein witches, demons, and ghosts are thought to be at their most powerful and evil actions are set in motion. Let me know what you guys think about this. This clip is incredible and pretty much speaks for itself. The bear, as you can see, is swimming after the calves. Mom swoops in and runs interference and backs the bear off a bit. But ultimately, one of the calves gets separated, and that is the beginning of the end for that little guy. An expert weighed in on the video and says that it looked like the mother had to pick which one of her children to save. And not surprisingly, it wouldn't be the first time an animal mom was forced to identify the weakest link in her family chain and use them to placate an existential threat. In fact, it happens more often than you think. It's a cold move, maybe the coldest, but in the end, it is the right one biologically speaking. Though it may seem harsh, it's the right move to ensure survival of her family in a dire situation. Now, the following footage claims to show something frightening hiding in the woods, but the validity of this claim is highly questionable. The supposed creature is never fully revealed to the camera, and its movements, while quick, could easily be explained by a number of other factors. Additionally, the lighting in the video, while aided by infrared, would have made it difficult to accurately identify the source of any movement. Furthermore, the creature's supposed desire to come out from hiding before ultimately disappearing completely out of frame could easily be interpreted as simply being a trick of the lighting or a misinterpretation of the footage.
I'd say until there's concrete evidence to support this video, it's wise to remain skeptical. Thanks to a Trailcam, we now have a rare glimpse into the wild and what bears do when humans aren't present. This Trailcam captured a thrilling video of two mature black bears locked in a battle, which some may interpret as a territorial fight, but it is more likely a display of dominance or a defense of a food source. The clip showcases two black bears, with one being a cinnamon bear, a subspecies of the American black bear that has a brownish color and darker arms and face. The bears charged at each other with full power and strength, until the cinnamon bear overpowered the other, knocking it down before standing up and continuing. Safe to say, this trail camera footage has provided a unique insight into the wild world of bears. An amazing camera capture here shows a massive mountain lion cornered on the top of a snowy boulder. The trio of hunting dogs ran and tracked the big cat until he had nowhere to go. The dog's advances almost push the cat off the rock, but he holds tight. The lion doesn't seem necessarily too worried about these dogs. I don't blame him. I mean, the dogs do outnumber him, but they don't outpower him. They've been home eating dog biscuits while this guy fights and claws for his food in the wild. Ultimately, when the owner of the dogs caught up, he called them off. And when they retreated, the big cat came off the rock and eventually walked away. Everyone left unharmed. This video clip has made its way around the internet with lightning speed, and for good reason. Originally uploaded by Colorado wedding videographer Stanton Giles, this video shows a bride and groom saying their vows next to a beautiful lake in Glacier National Park. The bride and groom were in the middle of exchanging their vows, surrounded by their friends, families, and a gorgeous backdrop. But suddenly, the peace was shattered by a loud roar. As the wedding party and the guests turned around, what they saw blew their minds. Several hundred yards away, across the lake on the bank, was a huge bear attacking a moose, right across from the ceremony. We'll play a little clip so you can hear what it would sound like if you were there. The videographer who was facing the carnage said that he saw them both come down the mountain to the water's edge. The moose got there first, and then the bear came barreling through the trees and attacked the moose, dragging it to the ground and killing it. Some of the guests were stunned and frightened, others thought it was amazing, and the bride and groom remained relatively calm. Although this probably isn't ideal, this is definitely a memorable experience. And they can say that their wedding video went viral. I'll link this video in the description so you can watch it at length. This is an amazing capture here. Look at that move the hawk put on when he came to the fence. So this next video takes us to the Foxy Q Retreat. Yeah. So this place is a certified wildlife refuge. It's in the Spring Mountains of Nevada. You can probably tell by its name that mostly foxes are under its care. However, the owners say they have all types of wildlife on site. Some are just visitors, but they have deer, foxes of course, mountain lions, bobcats, armadillos. Well, the bobcat is the culprit in this next video, and the owner has actually tried repeatedly to get the cat off the property. You see the compound that is Foxy Retreat in the daytime. The owner explains that the mountain lion will even drink out of the little koi pond there. The next photo, taken at night, shows the bobcat coming onto the property. And across the compound, there is one of the foxes eating out of the bowls of food that is set out for them. And yes, the owner is aware that the food most likely attracted the predator and led to this event. And from what I'm understanding, it's a sore subject. As we see in the video, the fox nibbles. He definitely hears and senses something in the vicinity. A few moments pass, and boom, the cat snares the fox. The food bowl goes flying and the fight is on. As the video continues, you can see that the other foxes have been put on alert by the commotion of the attack. When the bobcat comes back into frame, you can see that he doesn't have the fox. The other foxes scurry, and the bobcat slips off into the night. Now, here's one thing I'm not sure of, and maybe someone can answer it. Did the bobcat attack the fox as a food source, or was it a territorial dispute over available food? I feel like if the bobcat wanted to eat the fox, we would have seen that, but I don't know. Maybe someone can shed some light on this. Let me know what you guys think. I'd be interested. This next video showcases a paranormal event captured on camera. The person who recorded it had set up the camera in their garage after noticing strange occurrences happening in that area. Despite not having a camera set up on their deck at the back of the house, strange things also seem to happen there, and it appears that the mysterious figure in the video is headed in that direction. Due to all the unexplained happenings, the person decided to put a camera in their garage to capture any unusual activity. And as we watch it again, you can see the apparition float by. Or could it be possibly walking directly through the car? Let me know what you think about this mysterious figure or spirit or ghost, whatever it may be. A couple in Virginia began to experience unusual events in their home, mainly in their kitchen. As they lived with their young toddler, they were certain that neither of them was the cause of these strange occurrences. To find out what was happening, the couple set up cameras inside their house, but no evidence was captured. And after installing the cameras, the strange events seemed to just stop. And believe it or not, things that were previously taken or moved were put back in their original places. Now, this video was taken from an outdoor camera attached to the couple's house. And as you can see, the camera catches an apparition or spirit or phantom, something just gliding right through their back door. What is that? Usually, I would just chalk this up to a camera glitch or even some type of moth or bug. But knowing the couple's backstory makes it really creepy. Personally, I love videos like this. Let me know what you think about this spirit or ghost. Or what could be the cause of this? Is the couple just imagining these things? And also let me know if you like this type of footage. I love everything that's real and has been captured on camera, but I want to know what you all think. An Arkansas hunter got quite the surprise when he checked his trail cameras one day. These cameras are actually directly behind his house, pretty close to his deck in his backyard. As he's checking, he notices something unbelievable. Now, no one has permission to hunt his land, and normally he'd be pretty upset if another hunter trespassed. But he's not mad at this hunter. What he captured on this camera is amazing. As you can see, a bobcat was captured taking down a deer. And if you look at the photos, the bobcat is a pretty good size. The man commented to the news that he sees bobcats ever so often and wouldn't be surprised to see it with a raccoon or a squirrel or something smaller. But taking down a healthy deer is quite the feat. And it has put he and his family on notice. It's something that they need to be aware of. Arkansas Fish and Wildlife saw the photos and estimate the cat to be about 40 pounds, which would be a very, very big bobcat. Some experts suspect that the cat's probably between 20 and 30. Since cats are lightly built, a 40-pound cat would look huge. But nevertheless, the animal is obviously capable of doing some damage. So regardless the size, this guy means business. For any bobcat hunters out there, let me know the biggest bobcat you've seen. One guy commented that his dad had hunted bobcats for 60 years and he thought that only maybe 2 of them in total reached 40 pounds. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch was sent this footage from a friend of theirs who is a Bigfoot enthusiast, and they immediately recognized the location. As the story goes, at around 5:30 p.m., a deer hunter and his son were on their way to town from deer camp. They happened to spot a mysterious figure dressed in head-to-toe brown, roughly 300 yards away. Now, this is in the middle of hunting season, and what caught their eye is that he didn't have on his blaze orange. So, what was he doing out there? He could have easily been mistaken as an animal, especially in this popular hunting spot. The hunters zoomed in on the figure with their cell phone and recorded the footage and realized that this may not actually be a human. As they looked closer, what they originally thought to be brown clothing now may appear to be fur. After they received the footage, RMS decided to investigate the area the next day. And to their surprise, they found 3 other people already on the scene, trying to corroborate this Bigfoot sighting. 2 of the groups were in a truck communicating with walkie-talkies, and the others were out searching for footprints. RMS knew their suspicions were correct. Others had seen the footage and were out there looking as well. He actually pulled up to one of the trucks and asked, "Are y'all investigating a Bigfoot sighting?" The man said it was hilarious the shocked look he got. They felt relieved after witnessing the other investigators on site. He said you never know if the footage you receive might be a hoax, but these hunters genuinely did not know what they had caught on film. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch decided to join forces with the other investigators to search a well-known Bigfoot sighting hotspot adjacent to where the footage was taken. They then expanded their search to other nearby Bigfoot sighting locations within a 20-mile radius of the filming location. Towards the end of the day, they stumbled upon 2 Bigfoot tracks near a creek, 2 miles away from their initial search area. The tracks measured 16 inches in length and 8 inches wide at the toes, tapering to 6 inches wide at the heel. This discovery added to their excitement, and they were intrigued in uncovering more about the figure and the footprints. Now, I don't know if those are Bigfoot prints or not, but the figure in the video actually looks like Bigfoot. Let me know what you guys think of this. Could this really be Bigfoot or just another well-orchestrated hoax? In this clip, you can see some teenagers just enjoying a night in the pool. You can hear in the background that they must be at a barbecue or something. Well, now there's a 4th. That's crazy. You can see the girl. She smacks that thing. And then the one guy tries to help out, but the first guy, he just dipped out. Release containers are oftentimes used for bears that are being relocated. Maybe they have wandered into an area where they've been deemed a threat to humans, or sometimes these containers are used for rehabilitation. If a bear has been injured or sick, it may need to be taken in to receive treatment. Now, in this video, I'm not sure if this bear is being relocated or what, but he is being released from his container today, and it is a happy day for everyone. They set up a camera to document his release back into the wild. As you see the door open, this bear is on his way to live a brand new life. As soon as he breaches the doorway though, he goes into attack mode. Luckily, I think that was just a tripod camera and there wasn't an actual camera person. This video starts with just a single deer, who eventually bounds away, and shortly after, we see a bobcat come into frame. I suspect he's after that deer, but is just a little late. As the video plays and the deer eventually comes back in front of the camera, you can see her stomping her feet and bleating, grunting and snorting, most likely trying to signal the alarm that there is a predator nearby. You can see it stomping its feet, its ear position, tail movement. These are all other ways that the deer can convey information. This next little clip is just a small compilation of the wildlife on this gentleman's property. It's from the same property as the clip before. Man, he has quite the intersection here. We see deer, a raccoon, a bear, coyote, bobcat, and even a porcupine. This is just a great property, and he has a nice little honey hole for his trail cameras. It's cool to see all of these animals inhabiting the same place. They come through the same areas day and night. Located in Maine, it's just a great property and a little treasure trove of trail camera footage. Our first video takes place in February of 2011, where a family has gone out to do a little target practice. The father has set up some bottles and cans as targets, and as you can see, is showing his son how to aim the rifle. The wife who posted the video said that there was a helicopter circling them the entire time. She thought they might be circling because they saw them shooting in the field, but she quickly realized that the helicopter wasn't after them. In the video, after the son fires the .22, Dad grabs the shotgun. He's excited. His father starts clapping, and almost simultaneously you can see Dad turn his head, and he notices the figure in the top right of your screen running. Even after he gets the gun from his son, you can see him look back over to his right. For now, everyone else seems to be oblivious. Let's slow it down. There's the black figure running. I'll highlight it for you guys. In the last few frames of the clip, you can see the figure has gone from running to crouched on all fours on some rocks. Many people that have seen the video have said that the government was on a covert mission hunting Bigfoot. And now, if this creature isn't a Sasquatch or a Dogman or any of the above, what could it be? The only other thing I could think of is that maybe someone escaped from police custody or a jail, or he's a suspect on the run. That would help explain the helicopter. I am very interested in what you guys think about this one. Please let me know. Now, the backstory of this video is amazing if true. A drone was said to have captured this tree moving violently in the forest.
People claiming to have seen something similar before say it is the work of a Bigfoot shaking a tree, which would be a very impressive feat for sure. Admittedly, the more I watch it, the more skeptical I become. Has anyone ever seen anything like this? In an eerie video coming out of a suburban neighborhood in Randolph, Massachusetts, a flock of turkeys are shown circling a dead cat for hours. More and more turkeys began to emerge from the nearby woods and join in on the infinite loop. Very creepy for sure. If anyone has any insight on this event, I'd love to know more. In my last video, I mentioned to someone in the comments that creepy kids scare me as much as anything caught on camera. And this particular girl right here scares the bejesus out of me. So needless to say, our next Trailcam capture made my heart drop. Taken at 2:45 a.m. on October 15th of 2015, a trail camera set up to track the movement of gray wolves on a man's property revealed this terrifying photo. As you look near the tree, you can see the back of a young girl walking away from the camera. If you look closely, you can see she's clutching a teddy bear or some sort of stuffed animal. What is she doing out there? Could there be a campsite nearby or a home she is sleepwalking from? Is she a ghost? All I do know is that she's way too young to be in those woods at night. A man in Kentucky put a trail cam up behind his house after finding mysterious holes being dug on his property. It's very hard to see the figure against the backdrop of night, but you can see the outline of a man or creature walking. He isn't sure what he's looking at here, and neither am I. We do agree that it looks like a creature with a thick, dark hair, but you be the judge. As far as the mysterious holes, they are still showing up. The following adventure was caught on the next best thing to the trail camera, the Ring doorbell camera. And as you'll see, it's quite the mismatch. A 20-pound Frenchie named Jules is catching some shade on the front stoop of her home when three very unwanted guests show up. As you can see, Jules doesn't hesitate and flies down the stairs, ready to fight. Two of the bears that are in camera view are visibly stunned at this little pup charging at them. Jules nips and annoys the bears until they decide to retreat, proving the old adage true. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. And I have a feeling Jules will enjoy all the treats she can handle. Talk about a heavyweight matchup between two of the most skilled scavengers in the entire animal kingdom. A bald eagle squares off with a coyote for what's left of a deer carcass. The video was taken in the Swan Valley of Montana, just north of Missoula, Montana. Two animals with the taste for deer meat. While the coyote has a big size advantage in terms of weight, the eagle's massive wingspan makes the canine look small by comparison. The two animals continue to spar back and forth in this chess match, and at one point a sneaky crow even tries to get in on the action. Ultimately, the eagle ends up disappearing with a healthy piece of meat in its mouth, while the coyote presumably was able to chow down on the rest. Now, I have seen the following video pop up on social media and some other sites that I follow, but I've never heard a good explanation of what it is. I haven't been able to find where this took place or many other details. What I personally see is some type of strange alien creature crawling awkwardly on a dirt road. To me, it seems to be in more of a feminine shape, covered in a grayish brown skin, but that's not even the weird part. Its hands and fingers look to be abnormally large and pointy and just otherworldly. Its head has a strange shape, and at first glance looks like this prop from the movie Alien. Is that what this entire clip is? A prop? A hoax? Or something more sinister? If anyone knows, please comment down below with as much info as possible.
This amazing clip captured in night vision shows a mountain lion attack on a deer trying to quench his thirst in a nearby stream. The mountain lion pounces on its prey. When we slow it down, we can see that the deer never saw the lion coming. A perfectly stealthy attack, most likely ending in a healthy meal for the lion. By now, we should all know that moms are the best. No matter which animal species you encounter, mothers are always willing to go to any lengths to protect their young. A trail camera placed near a wolf's den captured a touching moment when a mother wolf has realized that her pups are in danger. The snow and ice around the den was thawing and filling it up with water. This was potentially going to drown the young pups if she didn't act fast. As her instincts kicked in, you can see her quickly plucking each one out to safety. This looks to me like another instance of Mother Knows Best. This photo was reportedly captured on a cell phone in West Virginia. If you're a cryptid enthusiast, then you have no problem identifying this creature. If you're not familiar, this is a photo of Mothman, a humanoid creature with wings. Mothman was first reported in Point Pleasant, West Virginia in the 1960s. A couple reported they saw a large, gray, flying creature with glowing red eyes. After the initial sighting, people came out of the woodwork claiming they had seen something similar. The most notable characteristic that they all mentioned was his menacing red eyes. Soon, Mothman sightings had taken over. Research has proven that there are elaborate hoaxes that have been mixed in with factual evidence, making it impossible to say one way or another whether these creatures exist. You be the judge, and I'd love to know if anyone has had any Mothman experiences. Speaking of Mothman, this alarming video had many people stumped when it flew onto mainstream television. A man from California taped this and honestly thought he was witnessing Jesus Christ descend from heaven. Now, I don't know what this is, but I'd have to agree that I see a silhouette of a man and he does look like he's floating down from the sky. The man said he continued to float until he disappeared to an unknown location. The man was also adamant about what he saw and noted that he lives near an airport, so it couldn't have been a drone or other flying object, because they aren't allowed in the airspace. Could this be something we aren't supposed to know about? Maybe a government entity? Or an alien? Drop me a comment about what you might think this is. Now this clip will get the adrenaline pumping.
Get off the track!
And finally, at the last minute, he gets him loose. And thank goodness, owner and dog are safe. That's a solid camera capture. Glad everyone is safe. This next Trailcam capture is pretty exciting. It was sent in to me at stories@dread.army by Kyle R. from Virginia. Kyle put up a trail camera to keep an eye on a little path he has on his property. The path weaves and winds down to the water's edge where he has his boat docked. He primarily put it up to just be aware of who's using the path, and he has seen the usual wildlife native to Virginia. Deer, squirrels, all the birds you can count. Probably the most interesting thing he's come across is a flock of turkeys, and a few teenagers looking for a place to hang out. That was until he realized his camera had captured this disturbing photo. The photo shows a seemingly gigantic winged lizard or frog with black dead eyes. I'm literally guessing at what this is. Its wingspan covers the lens and has at least 2, but possibly 4 feet with talons. The wings seem to have almost a butterfly pattern on them. Nobody seems to know what this is. Kyle sent it in hoping the creature could be identified. But like him, I've never seen anything like this. Please drop me a comment if you have any ideas what this thing could be.
Yeah, so some guys in Australia caught this happening right outside the window of their home. Yep, that is a snake eating a bird. In the original video, the one guy comments and says, "Great, that's living on our roof." And at first glance, I thought, wow, this is pretty crazy. But then I heard the guy's accents and I'm like, Australia. Australia just doing what Australia does. So there's this video that just hit Reddit, and it's got everyone scratching their heads. It's filmed in the wee hours of the morning, about 4 a.m., with the camera pointing at an empty dining table. The scene is super calm, nobody's around, and then bam, the glass table just explodes into a bunch of little pieces. Happens out of nowhere, no sign of why the table would just blow up like that. But if you're really paying attention, right before the table combusts, you can catch a glimpse of this little speck of light, kind of like an orb, floating down toward the table. It's weird because the glass just burst like something heavy smashed down on top of it. But nope, there's nothing there. Just that little speck. It looked more like a cannonball was dropped from the ceiling. These orbs always have people up in arms. Many think they harness, hold, and distribute some type of energy. They're often called ghost orbs or spirit orbs, with some folks saying that they're signs of ghosts or some kind of energy we haven't figured out yet. Whether you're into the whole ghost idea or you're trying to figure out a more down-to-earth reason, you cannot deny that this clip is super intriguing. I mean, that is just incredible. I'll say this, even if it's fake, it's a pretty cool video. I don't think it is, but some pretty impressive camera work if it is a hoax. Marquette Jean, a nurse from Minnesota, was having a typical quiet evening at her place when something odd caught her attention on the baby monitor in her daughter's room. She thought she saw a cat-like shape moving through the bedroom door.
Is there a cat in here? Is there a cat in here? No. Oh, sorry. Love you, night. Are you okay? No, it's okay. I was just checking on you. Good night. I love you.
It's scary.
Huh?
It's scary.
You're scary?
Huh?
Why?
It's a monster. It's really scary.
There's no monster in the window. I'll look. See? I'll look.
Checking on her little girl Everly, who's 3, she finds out that Everly's actually freaked out about something else. Everly mentions a monster at the window that's scaring her, looking into her room. If you watch the video, it clearly looks like something ran through that door. But what's super strange is that Marquette had a cat she loved to death that died that summer. And besides that, she says there's been all sorts of bizarre and creepy stuff going down in their house since they moved in for ages. This footage that she's captured, this cat or creature that went through the door, is the first time they've actually managed to get something on camera. I mean, she can't make heads or tails of what's been caught, but it's definitely something. What do you guys think that was? I mean, that looked just like a cat. I don't know. Okay, now look, this is nuts. This bear in Canada has decided it's going to climb up to a second-story window as if it's just a regular tree. Caught by a neighbor's camera, we see this bear pulling off a seriously crazy stunt, scaling the side of this house to get to that window. I mean, this thing is huge too, and it just hangs onto the wall, surprisingly very well. It repositions itself and actually goes through the window, gets into the house. Can you imagine, like, if you hear something upstairs, maybe your kid's napping, you hear something upstairs, you walk up there and there's a bear? Come on. I'll say the weirdest part to me is that the people that were filming this, yeah, they're freaked out, but like, you didn't make any noise. Like, try to deter the bear from going into your neighbor's house. Unless maybe you don't like your neighbor. James White is deep into the paranormal scene and has a rather unique gig. He sets up and runs seances in some of Toronto, Canada's creepiest abandoned spots. This time, he's at the Lambton House, a place with a past that dates back to 1860. It's got a reputation for being packed with ghosts. James and a group of people looking for a brush with the other side are in for quite the shock. They're in the middle of this seance, right? And something crazy happens.
No, she's breaking my hand right now. It's the topicals one. Okay. So Norman, someone in this room is trying to harm you? Is it a person? If so, give me a sign. Are they in this room? Is it a male? Oh my god! They hold him back. Keep his chair to backward. Why did your chair to back? I did not move it. Oh. Something just pulled. Yeah. Keep your hands together. Keep your hands together. We grabbed him as soon as he fell back. Do not break. Okay, really? It did break when he fell though, because he went that far back. Okay, so did somebody actually pull your chair? Yeah, like he tipped backwards. Somebody pulled your chair? Yes.
One guy suddenly gets yanked back in his chair by something nobody can see. Everyone's got their hands joined, the vibes are tense, and bam! This guy is nearly yanked onto the floor. He's shaken up, unsurprisingly.
The door behind me was open, and I had my partner sitting beside me, and we had the door was open behind us, and we thought we heard something back there, but nothing was there, so we turned, and I looked, and I saw nothing, so I turned my head back towards the group, like the circle, and we're all holding hands, and then all of a sudden, I just felt like this force just come and pull me back, and it was like aggressive. It wasn't like calm, it was aggressive, like it was trying to kill me or something. I don't even know. My feet were like flat on the ground. I wasn't moving. I was holding hands with the people beside me, and it just pulled me. And it like felt like someone was coming up behind me, like standing up behind me as I'm sitting in the chair, and like taking my shoulders and like pulling me towards the mirror. It was crazy.
Saying it felt like a force was out to get him, really aggressive, like it was trying to drag him away from the crowd. People there can't believe their eyes. This dude's feet were planted. He wasn't leaning back or anything. And it's like some invisible force just grabbed him and yanked him right into the mirror. That is pretty creepy. Those who saw it all go down posted it first on Instagram, posting about the crazy experience. One says they were sitting right across from the guy and it was so wild to see. Another comment just says, another epic seance with James White. So, did James catch proof of a ghost getting grabby with the visitor at the Lambton House? He might just have. Another intriguing video from Reddit. The person who posted it had a cat named Ladybug who sadly met its fate at the paws of some unknown critter not too long ago. The family decides they're going to set up a security camera to catch whatever it is that got poor Ladybug. One night while eating dinner, they get an alert. There's movement on the camera. They check the footage and are floored by what they see. There's this translucent image of a white cat that's just crystal clear, with all the makings of a feline, the head, the whiskers, even the ears. Then, just as it shows up, it vanishes. The family's pretty sure it's Ladybug. The family remembers how Ladybug used to just perch on the railing in the video. She would watch everyone and watch the laundry routine. So what do you think about this ghostly kitty appearing on camera? Is it proof that animals have spirits like humans? Or do we think that this might be Ladybug's killer? here's footage from a security camera in an empty home. The clip starts and is pretty much fixed on a pair of sneakers just sitting in the living room, which of course seems pretty normal. But hold on, because things get weird pretty fast. Out of nowhere, these white sneakers start moving all by themselves. Seriously, they just start shifting around without any sign of anyone messing with them or anything around that could have nudged them. No pets, nothing. And just as odd as they start moving, they stop, dead in their tracks. The clip had the comments going wild. There are people who are sure it's something straightforward we're missing, like an invisible string, someone off the camera giving it a little tug. But in steps the paranormal enthusiasts, and they're throwing around ideas about poltergeists and ghosts and hauntings. One guy even said he's pretty sure a ghost is walking in those shoes. Okay. Anyhow, these are the types of videos that'll make your imagination run wild. For me, the way I see it, it's either a full-blown hoax or that's a ghost. Yeah. This video from TikTok is really sending the shivers around. In this next clip, you might just catch a shadow person. Picture a super quiet street at night, only a few streetlights flickering. All of a sudden, a dark figure pops up and hustles across the road. Then, just as quickly as it showed up, it kinda just dissolves into thin air. Like something out of a movie. People can't help but call these weird run-ins with shadow persons. But what exactly are they? That's the million-dollar question. They're these odd shadow-like figures that some folks catch out of the corner of their eye or lurking in the corner of the room, and nobody can really say for sure what they are. Some people think they're just ghosts, or they're spirits that are caught lingering on the fringe of our world. Another interesting idea is that maybe they're time travelers just popping into our moment in history really quickly, and then dipping back out. With no concrete evidence, it's hard to say what they really are. But I'd also say the video is some type of proof. Let me know what you think about these. Alex from the Dominican Republic posted this wild video. It shows his friend heading out for work early in the morning. That's about 5:30 a.m. or so. As he's leaving his place, something super weird shows up on camera behind him. If you look down the hall, there's this strange shadowy figure that looks sort of see-through. It just strolls down the hallway and then vanishes into thin air. The guy looks back and almost catches a glimpse of it, but at the time, he wasn't really sure what it was. He knew he saw something, and then it wasn't there, so he looked back at the security footage later that night. I mean, this thing is pretty creepy. When it hit online, it racked up 7 million views very quickly. People started throwing in their 2 cents, firing off all types of questions. Of course, some just right off the rip were calling it a fake. The guy that it happened to quickly shot another video, just trying to give everybody the lowdown on what happened. Alright, check this out. This has been freaking out fans of the supernatural since it got posted. The user, who goes by Mooncake, shared a photo that's enough to give anyone the creeps. It shows what looks like a ghostly figure sitting on top of a fence. Kinda as if it's keeping watch. Of course, it's set against a dark and spooky night sky. Mooncake says the photo was snapped just outside a friend's house, and here's the twist. Nobody noticed the spooky shadow until they looked at the picture later, long after some cocktails and the night was ending. When they posted it online, people dove into wild theories right away. One that got a lot of attention was pretty out there. The person said that the silhouette was the leftover spirit of a person who died in a spontaneous fire. But hold up, not everyone's convinced we've got a ghost on our hands. The doubters say it's just an optical illusion. It's a shadow playing off the nearby parking meter and a utility pole that line up perfectly. And I will say, if you kind of squint and look closely, You could see that those things might make this shadow. Anyhow, it stirred up quite the controversy, and I'd love to know your opinion. Captured in Chattanooga, Tennessee, this photograph at first glance seems to show a person perched on the edge of a fence. Nothing too crazy, person hanging out on the fence. But a closer inspection reveals something even more interesting. When you zoom into the image and enhance its clarity, an eerie gray figure begins to emerge. Its faint outlines hint at a figure from another time, perhaps a woman. Some say she appears dressed in Victorian-era attire. Do we think she could be the ghost of a nurse or maybe an older housemaid? One distinct feature that was pointed out is how her hands appear to be gracefully clasped around her chest. This led a few commenters to say she is definitely from a church, or she is mourning the loss of a loved one, which makes things very interesting. But the kind of funny part of all this is that the person who took this photograph wasn't even trying to capture this figure at all. They didn't even see it. They were instead focused on this funny-looking pareidolia face that seemed to be grinning from the tree in the foreground. They were just snapping the picture to send to a friend. But remember when I mentioned the lady who was mourning? The site of this photograph has tales of its own, as history tells that this property was significant during the Civil War. It was a strategic base of operations, and sadly many soldiers met their tragic end in fierce battles right there. Further deepening the mystery, the current resident of the nearby house, an elderly woman, confirmed some very strange things that happened all over the area. This revelation has ignited wild speculations about the identity and origin of the gray figure. We all know the skeptics jump in there, and of course, yeah, it could be something else, but this looks pretty legit to me. One guy said it was a bird. He received quite the backlash, because obviously the bird would need to be the size of a human. I don't know, for me, it's a little weird to catch something that looks like a person, and also to see that person in that kind of period-appropriate clothing. I feel like that kind of ratchets up the validity of it. I'm going with ghost mourner of the Civil War era. This clip we're about to see is every pet owner's nightmare, and just strap yourself in. Captured by a home security camera in Canada, it shows an intense moment where two dogs are playing in a snowy yard with a frozen pool. Out of nowhere, one dog slips, breaks through the ice, and gets trapped under the freezing cold water. Spotting the emergency from inside, the owner immediately rushes out to help. You could see the wheels turning in her head as she hops into the frigid water. And she knows that this is a race against the clock to find her dog. And she is crashing through the ice. She is not giving up. She's having to work her way around the pool to hopefully bump into her dog to pull it out of the water. Well, as she takes a second pass, her quick thinking pays off. She bumps into the dog and quickly pulls it out of the water, safe and sound. The homeowner's heroic act saves the dog, and he makes a full recovery. But this gripping footage is a powerful reminder to keep an eye on our furry friends. Man, I'm glad she was looking out that window when that happened, because she really didn't have much time.
Alright guys, so this first video could be the most debated one I've come across. The original video had over 6,000 comments. Okay, as the story goes, a woman and her husband were riding the back roads one night when they collided with something. The woman pulls out her phone and starts recording. Now, initially, they most likely thought it was a deer they hit, very common, but the wife wanted to go back and be absolutely positive they hadn't hit a person, or even worse, someone's dog. Now, what I'm about to tell you was one of the most heavily debated parts of the comments, but for perspective, the woman is filming in the rear view camera that's inside the vehicle. That didn't register for some people. Anyhow, enough stage setting, let's check it out.
Hit something. Hope it didn't hurt the car. Somewhere. Is that it right there?
Now I'm going to show you the enhanced and slowed down footage. Like I mentioned, many viewers suggest that the video is fake because the encounter is too convenient. Just as they happen to record, they catch this on camera. However, you could say this could be true for any rare event captured on film. Skeptics argue the creature moves too much like a human, but others ask, how can we know the gait of Bigfoot if it hasn't been documented? Believers point to the creature's enormous size, which some argue is too big for a person even in a costume, noting especially the being's long arms. Regardless of our opinions, this is quite the video, and it definitely has raised the most eyebrows I've seen in a while. The YouTube channel run by an individual named Johnny featured a video dubbed Bigfoot Family Sighting in Utah on January 3rd, 2011. This video became the source of quite the internet stir. Johnny, alongside his children and their friends, ventured up the snowy mountains of Utah for a day of hiking and sledding. Here is where it gets interesting. The discovery would take place a few weeks later when he eventually watched the recorded footage. Johnny was blown away when, in 3 separate instances, he had footage of what he has described as a family of Bigfoot. The initial segment captures a Bigfoot walking into a little grouping of trees on the right of the screen.
Look out, Jet! Nice.
The second snippet captures the same, or a separate Bigfoot, peering at the group momentarily before vanishing from sight.
Go ahead, somebody. Nice.
The final sequence showcases what Johnny has presumed to be a third Bigfoot, this one showing more erratic movements.
Good. You alright? That was a nice little wipeout.
An expert weighed in and suggested that this particular figure might be hurt, given the way it's moving. He also noted that the creature could have dropped down on all fours to get away, and that's what we're actually looking at. Such behavior is typically exhibited by mature Sasquatches when they sense danger and they feel like they need to retreat. Critics have noted that the claim of 3 distinct Bigfoots could indicate a hoax, and I kind of agree. I mean, there's no evidence that those are 3 separate Bigfoot. They're all in the exact same place. I would assume that it's just one. Nonetheless, it's pretty cool footage and the argument rages on. Heading off into the woods in search for mysterious creatures is a hobby for many cryptid hunters who believe in the paranormal around the world. They often explore uncharted woods to find signs of creatures thought to be just myths. Well, a recent video had many of these enthusiasts all hot and bothered. It showed that the Indian Army might have found new clues about the Yeti's existence. In fact, the Indian Army's official Twitter page for public information shared photos of what they say are Yeti footprints. These were taken near the Makalu base camp, a remote area on the Nepal-Tibet border. The video mentioned that the footprints were 32 by 15 inches, which is gigantic. The original tweet noted that the Makalu Barun National Park, where the photos were taken, is well known for Yeti sightings, and many feel that adds credibility to the discovery. On the other hand, some people are doubtful, pointing out that many scientific studies have already disproved the idea of a Yeti living in the Himalayas. I don't know about that study that says they've debunked a Yeti living in the Himalayas. Sounds like a non-believer to me. This clip captures a supposed Bigfoot sighting in Provo Canyon, where the creature reportedly throws a rock at the person filming. The thing that really stands out to many viewers is how big the creature is, and its incredibly long arms. What's puzzling is if this is just someone wearing a costume, how could they throw a rock so well? Even if the costume had fake arms or prosthetics, it seems unlikely that someone could grab and throw a rock that far without using their real hands. We're going to take another look and enhance the video to try and understand this sighting a little bit better. Now, some people, and I get it, think it's just a costume, but they can't explain away how the rock was thrown with fake arms, no matter how they chop it up. This footage is actually from the same area as another famous Bigfoot video that got millions and millions and millions of views. And of course that doesn't mean that it's definitely now a Bigfoot, but it's certainly more intriguing than most. An interesting theory brought up in the comments is that if it's not a person in a costume, maybe we're looking at a creature that's adapted in unique ways. Perhaps this Bigfoot has developed a kind of tool-using ability, like primates using sticks or stones, which that could explain the rock throwing. Or this skill might be a sign of higher intelligence or social learning among these creatures, suggesting there's more to Bigfoot than just being a mysterious figure in the woods. Caught on a security camera near a busy pedestrian path is a video that's bound to give you the chills. Check this out. This footage shows a man standing alone, deep in thought and seemingly oblivious to the world around him. However, as you can see in an instant, his demeanor changes. Something in his peripheral vision grabs his attention, causing him to jolt out of his trance. As we follow his gaze, we see two strange creatures dashing across a nearby rooftop. I mean, these guys are running with a sense of urgency, and that doesn't help us get a very good look at them. And look at the man. You can tell he is like, what just happened? Like, did anyone else see that? When we slow down the video, the outlines of the creatures become slightly clearer. Some commenters say they bear an eerie resemblance to kangaroos. I mean, unlike kangaroos, these guys are on all fours. But what's most fascinating to me is that this isn't an isolated sighting. People from different parts of the world, including countries such as France, Japan, UK, and the US, have reported similar encounters. Everyone who's seen the footage is baffled. Could these creatures be a new, yet-to-be-identified cryptid? I mean, personally, I think we're looking at a Jersey Devil hybrid. For those that don't know, a Jersey Devil is a legendary creature often described as a flying biped with hooves. It has a goat's head, bat-like wings, and a forked tail. It's a prominent figure in the cryptid community. Hundreds of years of reported sightings and stories contributing to its legend as a supernatural beast. I looked and looked for more footage of this, but I don't know. What say you guys? In a video shared on Facebook by Clay Shiner, viewers are treated to the backdrop of an amazing sunlit forest. However, it quickly becomes apparent that the cameraman isn't after what's behind the woods. He's focused on what's in it. Check this out.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Valerie, did you see that?
As you watch, a tall, dark figure emerges, walking from left to right and briefly pausing to look out from behind a tree. The mysterious figure soon dips back into the shadows of the forest, leaving the guy recording to repeatedly ask, "Do you see that? Do you see that?"
Do you see that? Do you see that? Oh my God.
At first glance, the figure could be mistaken for a human, or even a bear. But here's the part that gets me. Watch this.
Oh my God.
I mean, look at those arms. Initially, I just saw a dark blob, but as soon as he outreached his arms, what? A still image from the video further highlights the creature's excessively long limbs compared to its upper body. Now, this raises the obvious question, is this a Bigfoot? But I'm thinking that it has to be some other type of creature. Man, I just don't know. I'll say this. To me, this is either a cryptid of some sort that maybe we don't know about, or this is just completely fake. Because those arms are definitely not from a human. This next clip I stumbled upon is freaking creepy. Let me just get that out of the way. So a homeowner had taken note of some odd things occurring around his home. The first things that caught his attention were the unsettling noises coming from the roof. However, things really went sideways when, after a recent grocery shopping trip, he found the items he neatly just placed in the garage had been ripped open and rifled through. He had only been gone for a few minutes. And of course, the mystery didn't end there. Days went by and the homeowner still couldn't shake off the eerie feeling. The noises from the roof and all of outside of the home continued. Bound and determined to get to the bottom of this, he took a flashlight one night, went out to see if he could spot anything unusual. To his utter shock, while searching, he caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a figure or some type of being lurking on his roof. Bravely, and I mean bravely, he decided to climb up onto the roof and have a better look. But as soon as he shined the light toward the figure, it wasn't there. And then seconds later, he realized it had moved closer. He was so freaked out he almost lost his balance. And that would have been a pretty bad fall from the roof. Now the being, which many commenters claim resembles an alien, or even the creature we all know as the rake, it for sure has a distinctive appearance: pale skin, penetrating dark eyes, unusually large head.
What is that? What in the
I mean, look, what is that thing? Ugh, it gives me chills. That is so creepy. And it looks small. I mean, I'd rather have an axe murderer on top of my roof than that thing. Anyhow, if you guys have any idea what this could be, let me know. I'm actually almost hoping that it is CGI. The original video uploaded to the Instagram page, Everything Cryptic, comes from an unknown source and has little background info. Nevertheless, here we are. It seems the people in the clip were just filming some wilderness shots when they unexpectedly found a very strong, aggressive creature. Check this out. Biologists and cryptozoologists alike believe Bigfoot generally has a calm, non-aggressive demeanor, and I would tend to agree. However, there are similar creatures like the Chinese Yeren and the North American Momo that are known to be rather mean and very protective of their area. The Yeren is said to live in the wild mountainous areas of central China. People say it looks a bit like Bigfoot or the Yeti, about 6 to 7 feet tall with reddish brown hair and sort of human-like. Stories about this creature go back a long time and often say it's a creature that doesn't like to be bothered. And of course, even after many searches, no one has found real proof of the Yeren. Still, it's a very interesting part of Chinese stories and the study of unknown animals. As for Momo, or the Missouri Monster, he's another famous creature said to be located in the United States. Obviously in Missouri. Momo grew to fame in the 70s after people said they saw it near Louisiana, Missouri. Yes, that's correct, Louisiana, Missouri. Very similar build as the others, about 7 feet tall with dark thick fur. His head was pretty round though, shaped more like a pumpkin they said, and he even had bright orange eyes. Momo was also known for a very bad smell like rotting flesh or death. I'm kind of bummed this video was so shaky, and since we don't know where this video came from, it's pretty hard to say what the creature is. What do you guys think? I don't know that we'll ever know, but let me know where you think this took place. I'm thinking the US by the landscape in the background. Okay, so this is allegedly footage of a Bigfoot running down a hill. As you can see, he's orange and seems to be either running towards something or trying to get away from it. At one point, you can see him reach out and grab a small tree. Some people say that the way it moves so smoothly without using its arms is a clear sign the video is fake. Yet the size of the creature makes others think it might be real. I mean, it's pretty interesting to think about what this video could really be showing if it's true. The orange color of the Bigfoot could mean it has a special way of adapting to its environment, or maybe its fur changes with the seasons, which is not something usually said about Bigfoot. I mean, the fact that it doesn't use its arms much could mean it evolved differently, or maybe it's hurt. Whether the video is just a good trick or something truly unknown, it definitely gets us thinking about what unknown animals might still be out there in the wild. For as long as we can remember, people all over the world have been talking about Bigfoot. Some refer to them as Yetis, a creature from Himalayan stories. In other areas, they're known as the abominable snowman. Many people claim they've seen signs of them in different places. However, mostly from afar. Well, in 2017, Scott Yeoman is pretty sure he saw one outside his house in Bailey, Colorado. And I'll say, the photos he took are quite eerie. So before taking them, Scott said he walked into his living room and something smelled foul, just awful. Like animal waste mixed with vomit. Something caught the corner of Scott's eye, and he immediately thought there was a bear staring into his home. But as he got closer to the window, he began to think otherwise. In his photos, we see something that looks like an ape-like creature. It has black fur, a broad, flat nose, a face with these marks and deep black eye sockets looking inside the house. Yeoman says he quickly ran to grab his gun and the creature ran off into the woods. He called the cops and they looked at the photos. 2 officers were as baffled as him, but one thought it was just a bear. Scott was annoyed at the one cop. He was adamant it wasn't a bear. Especially when he ran to grab his gun, he felt like the creature recognized that and ran off. A bear wouldn't have done that. People who saw the photos also had different ideas. One thought it actually might be an escaped gorilla, but mostly everyone thought it was Bigfoot. The creature's face is unusual and could be many things. Personally, I see a gorilla, but it's one of those things I can't unsee it now that I've seen it. Every time I look at it, it's still a gorilla. The eyes, the wide nose. But please, as always, take a look at the photos and decide for yourself. I'd love to know what everyone thinks.
This clip shows a great spot for a trail camera. As you can see, a family of deer have come to the watering hole. After they mill around for a little while, they eventually leave. Here comes a beautiful bobcat checking out the trail camera. He's a pretty good size too. The owner of the property and camera says the cat is always on the hunt, and he covers a lot of ground on this property. Later that night, a coyote shows up. Great footage from Mississippi. An elk has been killed, and this single mountain lion is in a battle with a pack of coyotes over the carcass. The cat is controlling the kill while the coyotes circle. The lion gives a big hiss, putting the pack on notice. For some reason, both parties leave the kill, but the coyotes are the first to get back to it. One coyote pulls it to the coyote side. Then you can see the lion dragging it back through the snow. As the video shows, after the lion fills its belly, he leaves for the final time, leaving the scraps for the coyotes. One coyote joyfully announces the cat's departure with a loud howl. The owner of the trail camera said the coyotes dragged the carcass to the meadow, where he found it the next morning.
This next amazing video is from Michael outside in Arizona. While hiking in Arizona, Michael stumbled upon a tiny little rock bed that was retaining water. There weren't any trees, so he quickly fastened his trail camera to this rock. And boy, are we glad he did. We see a vulture as the first visitor, and before we see any other animals, look at the temperature on the camera. Yes, 133 degrees Fahrenheit. Unbelievable. I'm surprised that water isn't steaming. 6 days later, only 90 degrees, a smooth 43 degrees cooler than the other day. Anyhow, we see a mama bear and her cub take a visit to the drinking hole. Well, they're going to use it as a pool too. Can't blame them for that. The little cub getting out all wet is adorable. Look at it. As the cub walks away, the look on the mom's face is priceless. Ugh. I know I have to follow him, but I just want to sit here and relax. These little guys show up. One attacks the camera. Then the majestic mountain lion comes for a long drink around noon. Showing up again about 8 hours later with what looks to be a younger lion, most likely one of her young. All of these are just phenomenal trail cam captures. Snow leopards are often revered as some of the most beautiful cats in the world. They have adapted to life in the harsh, high-altitude environments. They are solitary ambush predators known for their strong and agile bodies. And they're nothing to shake a stick at. They are capable of killing prey much larger than themselves, mostly due to their powerful jaws and muscular necks. Well, we're going to see all of that and more on display in this next absolutely nutty video. Just as you think they're going to stop, they keep falling. Would you believe it if I told you that the leopards suffer no injuries during this plummet down the icy mountainside? Yeah, me neither. However, this same leopard was spotted 72 hours later, looking to give something else a flying lesson. Just unreal. A video from 2010, taken in Algonquin Provincial Park in Canada. A passerby sees what they suspect is a Bigfoot on the side of the road. Many are calling it a fake. It looks pretty interesting. It's definitely something on two legs. However, that something could be a Sasquatch or someone playing a trick. My 2 cents is that it would be kind of odd just filming out the window and you accidentally capture a Sasquatch on film. I guess filming out the window really isn't that crazy. But anyhow, let me know in the comments what you all think about this video. This clip is great. I love this little girl's energy. She takes one look at that trail camera and she heads straight for it. If we're talking about fight or flight, this girl is all fight. This little cub reminds me of my youngest daughter. In our family, we joke around she's either going to be a lawyer or need a lawyer. In a recent video from the Voyager's Wolf Project, a rowdy little bear in Minnesota had an adorable run-in with this trail camera. The aggressive cub decided to fight the filming equipment while its mother was seemingly unconcerned about the destruction. Researcher Thomas Gable said he loved it. Quote, "I actually laughed out loud when I first saw the footage. I wasn't expecting it at all, and it was hilarious to see the cub getting into mischief. I mean, I rewatched this footage probably 4 or 5 times just for fun, thinking to myself, how lucky are we to get this on camera?" End quote. Very true. While the camera was temporarily disabled, it wasn't completely destroyed. So they'll still be able to catch plenty of footage. CCTV footage from the back of an apartment complex captured this creepy video. I stumbled upon it and wanted to know what you guys thought about it. As the video plays, 2 friends are walking, and one magically disappears. As we play it again, it looks as if something beamed down and sucked him into thin air. At first I was calling BS, but the way his friend runs away almost makes it look real, genuine. I just don't know. Let me know how you all feel about this video. This is another creepy video taken only a year ago. The scene looks like it takes place in a junkyard or some type of industrial area. The video shows a ghostly apparition floating from the left side of your screen. You can see as the dogs get off of their pile of bedding or whatnot and come to investigate. They're barking and howling at the floating object. What could this be? As we zoom in to get a better look, I still can't make out what it is. The dogs are definitely spooked by the floating being. The end of the video is even creepier. What is this thing? This next clip comes from Homesteading Off the Grid, a popular YouTube channel documenting the lifestyle. This guy has tons of trail cameras set up all over his property. In this clip, something freaky's going on. I don't even want to admit how long it took me to actually find the figures in this video. And I'll save you guys the time by highlighting them. The first one sticks his head out from behind the tree on the right of the screen. Definitely seems like a person or some type of creature. He's a black figure that peeks his head out and looks around for a minute, then pulls it back. This next part shows the dark object on the bottom left of your screen get pulled out of view. Watch that again. And again, we see the creature behind the tree on the right. Look, I don't know what's going on here. Does anyone else recognize these creatures? If this video is real, it's very intriguing. What could they be? I feel like it would be kind of strange for a cryptid to be out in the middle of the day. But let me know your thoughts. This next video displays some awesome trail camera footage taken out of New Hampshire. A turkey's hanging around a little clearing here and gets a tower buzzed by a hawk. Maybe the hawk was just saying hi. He definitely can't lift that turkey up. We see a beautiful coyote by a watering hole, And as the screen transitions, we see a very angry mama duck. And she charges at the red-shouldered hawk, who seems unfazed. Unfortunately, the reason the duck is so angry is that out of screen, the hawk swooped down and swiped a duckling. Here we see a bobcat slink by another camera on the property with a light squirrel dinner. This next part is pretty cool. As the camera zooms in, you can see a coyote in the background as a young buck comes into view. He's spooked. As we fast forward to the winter months, we can see some deer running, and then soon after, we see why. Possibly the same deer and the same coyote from the last clip. We see the deer stomping its hooves, swishing its tail and snorting. A telltale warning sign to the predator as well as the other deer that are with her. As the deer retreat, we see the two coyotes. Man, just phenomenal footage from a great piece of property. This next story is a heartwarming change of pace. Isabel Spriggett heard an awful noise coming from the woods behind her house. When she and her dog Kate went to check it out, they found an abandoned baby fawn. Isabel is a wildlife photographer and had actually photographed this deer a few days ago. She knew to leave the fawn where it was and was sure to keep her Great Dane Kate away from it as well. However, the nearly unbearable noise went on for 3 solid days, and Kate, the Great Dane, couldn't take it any longer. She was begging her mom to let her go check it out. So they did. When the pair entered the woods, they found the fawn in the same place it was 3 days ago, and it seemed that the mother had really abandoned it. This time, they picked her up and took her inside and laid her on the dog's bed. And well, the rest is history. Kate took an immediate liking to the fawn, and from the minute she met her, she adopted the role as mother. The fawn, who they affectionately named Pippin, would suckle on Kate trying to get milk, even though she couldn't produce any. Sadly, Isabel said it was only a few weeks before baby Pippin wanted to venture back into the woods, and they didn't stand in her way. Pippin would spend the night in the woods, but would visit every single day. And Kate would even disappear for hours playing with the deer in the woods. And the next day, they would do it all over again. This is just an adorable, heartwarming story. It's cute how they nuzzle and neck hug each other. Just something we all need, an awesome friendship. This video is pretty impressive. A red-tailed hawk versus a crow. As we watch it again, you can tell the crow sees the hawk coming in at the last second, but just can't get out of the way quick enough. A pretty interesting tidbit from an expert. He said that red-tailed hawks will shy away from corvids because of how smart they are. Corvids employ several strategies to deter hawks, such as mobbing. And generally only as a last resort will a red-tailed hawk try to dive bomb a corvid like this. So he was either really hungry or saw the perfect time to strike. Ryan Twellman, a game warden from Franklin County, was summoned to a farm following a report from a landowner about 2 white-tailed deer whose antlers were stuck together. Upon arriving at the site, Twellman located the 2 bucks in the same condition as reported. Unfortunately, one of the bucks had already passed away, while the other was still alive. Using a shotgun and a slug round, Warden Twellman was able to detach the antlers and release the surviving deer, which ultimately ran away unscathed. The warden gave the landowner a salvage tag for the deceased deer. According to the comments on Facebook, this type of incident is not uncommon. One commenter wrote that they had also come across a similar situation over the weekend, but sadly, both bucks had already died, and had likely been that way for over a week. Good work by the landowner and Warden Twellman.
No matter how tough and resilient animals are, every now and then, nature throws things at them that they just can't figure out by themselves. As we saw in an earlier video, sometimes animals just need a loving hand. In this clip from Michigan in 2019, Mark Johnson was out hunting with his dog when he spotted 2 bucks entangled with each other. Being an avid hunter and outdoorsman, Mark didn't think much of it. Of course, he thought it was cool, but he had seen bucks battling like this before. He was, however, impressed at how long they had been at it, how long they were fighting, and that's when he figured it out. They were stuck together. Mark knew he needed to help out, because what happens in these situations is that one, but most likely both deer die from exhaustion or starvation, and or coyotes move in for a kill. Knowing all that, Mark decided to call some of his buddies and told them what was going on. After the guys got a game plan, they grabbed some rope and a chainsaw used for cutting limbs and set out to free the bucks. They eventually found them wrestling near the tree line and tried to free them there, but the bucks became startled and pushed further into the woods. The deer eventually slid down an embankment and toppled into a little stream. With their necks twisted, this was a less than ideal situation. One or both bucks could have drowned. While the deer are laying there thrashing in the shallow water, the quick-thinking man took his shot and freed the bucks by slicing one of the antlers. Man, that guy was like a surgeon with that thing. In and out, real quick. Both deer quickly stand up and tromp through the water in the other direction. I'm sure they were grateful for the hand they were lent. Coyote and deer are mortal enemies. There's really no other way to explain it. 2 creatures thrown into the animal kingdom just trying to survive. Unfortunately for one of them, they are the prey. Drone footage from a professional fishing charter captain specializing in fishing the flats of South Carolina captured this amazing standoff and battle between a single deer and a single coyote. As the drone zooms in from overhead, you can see the coyote dragging the deer out of the shallow water pool, but she's able to escape and gets back to the water. Now, I would traditionally say that the deer has an advantage here because they are much stronger swimmers than coyotes. However, the water is not deep enough for the deer to have any real advantage. The coyote is still able to use its strong legs, while the deer's hooves are likely sinking into the soft marsh mud. This goes on for a few more minutes before the coyote gets and keeps the advantage. The rest of the video gets pretty gnarly, but to be conscious of some viewers, I'll link the full video in the description below. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, is considered to be the most popular and well-known cryptid. Bigfoot is often described as a large, ape-like creature that is said to inhabit forests, mainly in the Pacific Northwest region of North America. He is said to be bipedal, standing at around 7 to 10 feet tall and weighing around 500 to 1,000 pounds. There have been many reported sightings of the creature. But this next Trailcam capture is a pretty convincing one. A hunting guide named Craig Salk, who owns 80 acres of land in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, has put up trail cameras on various parts of his property. He just loves to track the game that is moving through the woods. Craig caught a figure in the background of one of his trail cameras, and it's either a human or a Bigfoot. Now, Craig says no one should be in these woods without his permission, but we all know how that goes. As the video plays, you can see the deer in the foreground is the one that triggered the camera to snap the pictures. But she's not what we're interested in. The mystery lies in the background. The trail cam took 3 pictures, but only one of them caught a bipedal figure in the background. Could this be a human? Sure. But what's he doing? Why isn't the deer afraid of him? Or these pictures could tell a story, and the story could be that there is a creature following this deer, and just happened to get caught in one of the pictures. Like I said, the camera snapped 3 pictures. The figure was caught in the second one. I feel like if that was a human, he or she would have likely been seen in all 3 photos. A Bigfoot, on the other hand, might be keen to stay out of sight. Craig shared the photos to social media out of curiosity, and the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization found the photo convincing enough to travel to Michigan. As the 4 members of the BFRO head to Craig's property, located right on the border of Wisconsin and Michigan, it is the exact type of dense forest a creature would inhabit. The foursome would spend a few nights and days on Craig's property. They were performing reenactments and searching for any reasonable explanation to verify or debunk this photo. Ultimately, the verdict was inconclusive. They could neither confirm nor deny what was in the photo. Having watched a decent amount of footage on this, the thing that strikes me is that Craig seems very level-headed and credible. He's not looking for notoriety or an award for finding Bigfoot. He's just a hunter who has pictures that he can't explain. So, what do you guys think? The photo definitely gets my wheels turning. Did Craig capture a photo of Bigfoot on his property? Or is he just the victim of a well-orchestrated hoax? I'll let you guys decide for yourselves. Honestly, I'm not really sure what to say about this one here. At first glance, it looks like a creature hugging a tree for sure. You can see the semblance of arms wrapped around the tree and a head buried in the arms. But the more I look, the less I'm sure this is an actual creature. The original uploader said that this was supposed to be a baby Sasquatch. You be the judge. In September of 2022, a small town was notified that there was a young deer running around with an arrow stuck in itself. The deer was first spotted on a farmer's trail cam, and the farmer couldn't believe his eyes. Sure enough, someone had shot and hit the deer with an arrow, but the deer never fell. The trail camera footage was taken days before, so the deer was long gone. As word spread, people were looking for the deer in hopes of helping out. One day after work, a man pulled in his driveway. Surprisingly, he saw a young deer next to his house. He thought, well, this is strange, but then quickly noticed the arrow protruding from his side. The man was unaware that this deer had been the topic of the town conversation, but he sprung into action. And the deer, seemingly unfazed, was pretty lackadaisical about the whole situation. And luckily, the gentleman knew the arrow needed to be removed to help prevent infection or further complications. The man calmly approached the deer, covering its eyes to keep it calm. I think deep down the deer must have known that the man was there to help, because he remained calm. The man was able to pull the arrow out relatively easily, but for precaution took him to a wildlife clinic where he could undergo further examination. The wildlife veterinarian said the arrow missed major organs and miraculously settled into a pretty benign place on the deer. He would be sore, but he was ultimately released back into the wild. Thank goodness for that Good Samaritan. In terms of physical strength, praying mantises are not particularly strong compared to other animals. But their strength is pretty impressive relative to their size and their hunting behavior. They are able to use their speed and agility to quickly grab and hold on to their prey, which is one of the things that makes them effective hunters. They are ambush predators. They wait and blend in with their surroundings to surprise their prey. And in this next clip, you're going to see that hunting in action. As you can see, the mantis is perched on the hummingbird feeder. The bird approaches and snatch. Unreal. Look at the mantis grab onto the beak of the bird and just not let it go. There's the relative strength we were talking about. The hummingbird tries to fly away, but the mantis just pulls him in. Mantises have a unique physical structure that enables the powerful muscles in their thorax and head to strike quickly and hold their prey. Safe to say we saw all of that in action. Just unreal camera footage. I didn't even know a mantis could handle a bird like that. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen anything like this. I'll stop it here, but I'll link the full video in the description and it's worth the watch. I feel like coyotes are kind of like that annoying, mischievous second cousin that just can't do right. At least that's always how it seems when you compare the coyote and the wolf. The wolf is bigger and badder and more feared, and the coyote is just meh. Anyhow, this particular coyote is here to show everyone that he can do impressive things as well. As the video starts, you can see the coyote is interested in the tree, and if you look a little closer, you can see there's a dog bone tied or somehow attached to this tree, and he wants it. What he does next is very impressive. He scales right up that tree, keeping his eye on the prize. Now, I have seen videos of similar things, but I've never seen a wild coyote caught on a trail cam doing it. Now, I will say I have never once seen this. A coyote in a tree. I can't imagine walking out to work one morning and seeing this. A coyote eating berries out of my tree. I mean, what is going on here? Has anyone seen anything like this? I have so many questions. Why is he up there? How did he get up there? The lady filming sounds very calm about this, almost like it occurs daily. She even says, quote, "There's our coyote eating berries out of our tree." This situation does remind me that I have heard about fruit farmers removing old rotten fruit from or around trees because of what it might attract. But honestly, when I think of that, this isn't what comes to mind. Let me know in the comments if you have seen anything like this. This is pretty amazing. This next clip is just incredible. But first of all, before we watch this next outdoor camera capture, the parrots in this video, shot in Brazil, are wild. They are not pets. So just remember that. Anyhow, as the camera rolls, you can see one parrot just hanging out near this water source, and pretty quickly another arrives. But he doesn't stay for very long. Wow. A boa constrictor hidden in the water bowl snatched him right up. As we watch it again, knowing what we know, you can tell the first bird is a little apprehensive. He takes a little nip of water, but then pulls back. I wonder if he senses something is in that water. I suspect the snake was just lying in wait for something to breach the water's surface, and when that second bird lands, you can see his tail just dip into the water ever so slightly. That's all the snake needed. Just an incredible wildlife event to capture on camera. Our next clip is a viewer submission from Ricky M. Ricky lives in the panhandle of Florida in a town named Bristol, bordering the Apalachicola National Forest, he says. Ricky likes to hunt anything he can find. His words, not mine. In his area, he has a lot of wildlife. Deer, hogs, bears, panthers, gators, and even more. One evening, he and a buddy were checking Ricky's trail cameras. They were looking for a big gator that was suspected of taking a neighbor's dog, and Ricky knew just the camera to check. As the guys sifted through the footage, seeing the usual suspects, to his surprise, one of the cameras had captured an image of a strange creature. It was unlike any animal he had ever seen before. It had the body of a panther with the distinctive stripe pattern of a tiger, but also looked like it had the mane of an African lion. Ricky and his buddy were shocked. They knew what they were looking at wasn't native to that area. They had lived there their whole lives. He showed the pictures to the local wildlife officials, but they were just as puzzled as he was. They had never seen anything like it before. The picture created quite a firestorm locally, but still no one has been able to identify it. The creature has been dubbed the Tigon, a crossbreed between a tiger and a lion. I guess using liger was too mainstream. Anyhow, everyone and their brothers were buying trail cameras to try and catch another glimpse of the Tigon, but he has never been seen again. The mystery of how such a creature came to exist and why it was in the remote woods of Florida remains unsolved. It's all pretty crazy. Now, I'm sure most know it's impossible for two species of big cats to mate naturally, but it is possible for them to be crossbred in captivity through artificial insemination. I don't know. My personal thoughts are, if this happened anywhere outside the state of Florida, I'd be a little skeptical. But Florida is known for being a little wild in some places, especially with all of the exotic animals that are imported into that state, and then ultimately released when their owners can no longer provide for them. Maybe this is one of those. Nevertheless, I'm grateful for the submission, and let me know if you've seen anything like this creature before, or have any knowledge of big cats and crossbreeding. Our next few clips are a compilation from an awesome channel that gives us a really good glimpse inside nature. Now, I've seen bears using trees as back scratchers in the past, but this here is a great angle, and it really gives some perspective. Look at him. He's barely pushing against that tree, and it looks like if he gave it any force, it could uproot at any minute. I mean, I get it. There really is nothing better than a good, much-needed back scratch. This next clip in the compilation shows some beautiful foxes. And man, let me tell you, they do not look like this in the part of the United States that I'm from. These guys are a cool-looking silver and black with reddish underbellies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think these are gray foxes. Red foxes are most common around me. And as you can see, they're having a little fun on this rock bed. I'd like to know the backstory of this clip here. The deer is stopped, the coyote runs by, and then the deer chases. Are they buddies, or... The deer did look kinda annoyed when he passed the camera. Like I said, this channel has some beautiful trail camera footage. Check this elk herd hitting the water. It's phenomenal. Look at that backdrop. At first I thought they sensed a predator, and maybe they do, but this trail camera footage stays wholesome. Just a look into the beautiful wilderness. This next clip shows a nighttime battle of two bucks, most likely in rut. You see a buck tumble down a small embankment, then smash. Another buck antler butts him off the top. What a great capture.